Chapter 509. What the hell? What the hell? One of the Zhou clan's disciples could not help but scream. He killed 16 martial master realm snake demons with just one strike. He did it so quietly that they could not even scream. What kind of combat power is this? That's a martial mentor realm snake demon, a martial mentor realm snake demon. Some of them are even at the 6th heaven of martial master. They are not Tom, Dick, or Harry. He was driven mad. He simply could not believe what he had just seen because it was just too frightening. With just a single thrust of the spear, 16 martial master realm snake demons died. Their bodies turned into dust and they did not even have the chance to scream. They would not be surprised if this kid was a martial master. However, he was at most a 4th heaven of martial master. How could he do such a terrifying thing? Shut up. Zhou Hao scolded in a low voice. Why are you shouting so loudly? Are you trying to attract the snake demons here? You may have a death wish, but we don't. I'm sorry. The Zhou clan's disciple immediately lowered his head in fear. If the snake demons here were alarmed, they would not be able to survive no matter how many lives they had. But this is too shocking. It is not something that an ordinary martial master can do. The Zhou clan's disciple could not help but say. He was extremely shocked. Of course, ordinary people can't do it. Zhou Hao clenched his fists. But do you know what that black spear in that kid's hand is? It is a treasure, and an offensive treasure at that. It is priceless. Even kings do not have many of them. His eyes were burning with passion. He could not wait to take the hell spear for himself. A treasure? Hearing this, the Zhou clan's disciples came to a sudden realization. If that was the case, then it could be explained. Just the treasure, the invisible pearl, had endless uses. It could form an energy shield, distort the magnetic field, and hide their aura and sound. It allowed them to enter all kinds of treasures without being discovered by strong enemies. If the kid took out a treasure like the invisible pearl, then it would have all kinds of incredible abilities. They could completely understand it. Do you know? With a treasure, you can increase your combat power by several times or even dozens of times. Zhou Hao stared at Xiaoping's departing back and said, this kind of treasure is priceless. Even king-level warriors would try to snatch it. This is a treasure that could start a small-scale war. No wonder this brat dared to appear alone in Savage Forest with his strength. He did not need any companions. With this treasure tool, of course, he would be able to move unhindered in the world. He would be able to enter all kinds of danger zones and obtain fortuitous encounters. His eyes were green with jealousy. If he possessed this artifact as well, then he would be able to enter all sorts of dangerous places and seize all sorts of spirit herbs and treasures to swiftly improve his cultivation and advance into the Grandmaster realm or even the King realm. In that case, his status in the Zhou family would definitely increase greatly. It might even be possible for him to become the future Zhou family patriarch. If we can snatch this prized artifact, we'll be rich. The eyes of a Zhou clan disciple reddened. Impossible. Didn't you see how brutal that kid was just now? Another Zhou clan disciple retorted, more than 10 martial master realm snake demons were killed by him in an instant. If we were to go up, we would probably be a piece of cake. He felt that trying to snatch the treasure from that kid was simply snatching food from the jaws of a tiger. No, it might not be impossible. Zhou Hao laughed coldly. My first uncle, Zhou Bin, happens to be adventuring in Savage Forest. He is a true grandmaster with boundless strength. There are even many experts following him. There are as many experts as there are clouds in the sky. If I inform my first uncle to come, that kid will definitely die a tragic death. Zhou Bin. Hearing this, many of the Zhou clan disciples were stunned. This person was an elder of the Zhou family and held a high position. However, the eyes of a Zhou clan disciple flickered. But if we inform Elder Zhou Bin, that treasure tool will not be ours. Don't be too worried. Zhou Hao waved his hand. Even if that treasure tool does not belong to us, it is still a great contribution to the Zhou family for us to be able to obtain it. Such a contribution cannot be ignored. Most importantly, without first uncle's help, we would not be able to deal with that kid. He had thought this matter through very clearly. As the saying goes, one must be willing to give up. Without giving up, there would be no gain. But that kid has already obtained a large amount of water moon grass from Cold Moon Lake. I'm just afraid that he will take this opportunity to leave Savage Forest. At that time, we will have wasted all our efforts, a Zhou clan disciple said in a low voice. After all, it would still take some time to inform Elder Zhou Bin to come. It's fine. I have already thought of a complete countermeasure. Zhou Hao's eyes revealed a hint of ruthlessness. When we were tracking that kid just now, we also discovered that group of bandits. These bandits seem to be following that kid just like us. They are probably trying to take revenge. The other Zhou clan disciples also thought of this matter. Fortunately, they had all used invisible pearls to hide their traces. Otherwise, they would definitely be discovered by that group of bandits. At that time, they would most likely be doomed. If we leak this kid's whereabouts to those bandits, what do you think will happen to that kid? Zhou Hao revealed his plan. Even if he is not killed by those bandits, he will be heavily injured, a Zhou clan disciple said with certainty. Another Zhou clan disciple's eyes lit up. Good plan? What a good plan. Even if we can't kill that kid, we can use the bandits to hinder his movements and prevent him from leaving savage forest so quickly. As long as we can stall until the elders arrive, he won't be able to escape. He understood Zhou Hao's sinister plan. But isn't this a little wrong? After all, that young man saved our lives. Doing this seems to be biting the hand that fed us. A Zhou clan disciple hesitated for a moment. Bullshit. Zhou Hao shouted angrily, every man for himself. For the sake of our Zhou clan's rise, what's a small favor worth? Furthermore, that kid is able to contribute to our Zhou clan's rise. It's his honor. At most, after we kill him, we'll give his family some money to settle them down and ensure that they won't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of their lives. He had a shameless grin on his face. The other Zhou clan disciples were all silent. With that young man's talent, he would definitely be able to stand out in the future. It would be a piece of cake for him to advance to Grandmaster. Even without the Zhou clan, his family would probably not have to worry about food and clothing. For Zhou Hao to say these words, he was really lying through his teeth. However, they were all members of the Zhou clan, so naturally they would not say anything that was detrimental to the Zhou clan. In fact, they even felt that this plan was very feasible and there was nothing wrong with it. Alright, we'll immediately inform eldest uncle Zhou Bin. We'll also inform those bandits to hinder that kid's movements, Zhou Hao ordered. Yes. Chapter 510. Ding dong. Just as Xia Ping was running through the forest and was about to return to his radiant god, he suddenly heard the system's voice. Someone is trying to kill the host. Host, please be alert. What? Xia Ping stopped in his tracks. Immediately, a stream of information flowed into his mind. Soon he saw Zhou Hao and the others discussing how to kill him. The content of their conversation was also clearly exposed. Zhou Hao. After reading the content, Xia Ping clenched his fists. His eyes flashed coldly and his killing intent boiled. Although he did not have a good impression of Zhou Hao, he did not expect the kid to be so ruthless. He actually wanted to kill him and steal his treasures. He had clearly saved the kid's life. Not only was he not grateful, but he also wanted to kill him. If this kind of person was not cruel and unscrupulous, then what was? He finally understood what it meant to be a wolf in the mountains. He wants to ask his uncle to surround and kill me? Or is he a grandmaster? Xia Ping clenched his fists. Good timing. So what if he is a grandmaster? Since he is here, I can kill them all at once. He had finished remodeling his personal flying ship, the Radiant God, and its power had increased by leaps and bounds. Even if a group of grandmasters came, he would be able to kill them all without leaving a single one of them alive. If these people wanted to find trouble with him and kill him to steal his treasures, then he would just as well bury this group of people here. He had saved Zhou Hao and the others, but they did not know how to cherish it. Now they wanted to die. He would grant them their wish. If they did not kill, they would not know how powerful he was. They would not know what respect was. But I did not sense Zhou Hao and the others just now. If not for the system, I would not have been able to detect them. That invisible pearl is really powerful. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. He was secretly shocked. His mental strength was very sensitive. Even if a grandmaster came, he would be able to detect them. However, after Zhou Hao and the others used the invisible pearl, he did not sense them at all. This was a little scary. This was because Zhou Hao and the others did not have any killing intent. Therefore, the bloodline in his body did not react to danger. However, despite this being the case, it was still enough to prove how formidable the invisible bead was. It was definitely a heaven and earth unique treasure, its value extraordinary. Looks like that invisible bead is quite a good treasure. If I can snatch it from Zhou Hao, it will definitely be of great help to me. It will be able to help me out of all sorts of dangerous situations. Xia Ping immediately thought of the various uses of the invisibility pearl. For example, in the Cold Moon Lake, if I had the invisibility pearl on me, I might be able to borrow the power of the invisibility pearl to enter deep into the Cold Moon Lake, enter the Silver Flood Dragon King's lair, and obtain a large number of treasures. He immediately came up with all sorts of plans to use the invisible bead. If he could obtain this invisible pearl, the benefits would be boundless. I'll set up a trap first. Then I'll slaughter Zhou Hao's group. Xia Ping clenched his fists and immediately thought of all kinds of countermeasures. Since the other party was heartless, then he couldn't be blamed for being unjust. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, figures rushed out from the depths of the forest, each of them emitting a biting cold killing intent. They charged in all directions, surrounding Xia Ping in an instant. The leader was a knife-scarred man. He was the bandit Qin Dao, a 7th-layer martial master. 20 to 30 other people also appeared, all of whom were at least at the first heaven of the martial master realm. When they appeared in this place, they looked ferocious like a pack of hungry wolves. Are these the bandits' accomplices that Zhou Hao and the others mentioned? They came very quickly. Xia Ping stood on the spot, looking at the group of bandits with a calm expression. You're Xia Ping? The knife-scarred man Qin Dao stared at Xia Ping and asked in an unfriendly tone. The other bandits also stared at Xia Ping, glaring like tigers watching their prey. Xia Ping nodded. Yes, why are you looking for me? What's the matter? Qin Dao sneered. Let me ask you something. Did you kill my companions Yi Lao-san and the others this afternoon? Someone gave us evidence. Don't play dumb here. He asked straightforwardly. Previously they were tracking the whereabouts of the murderer. Suddenly someone threw a piece of tree bark over. On it was the murderer who killed Yi Lao-san as well as the location of the murderer. Although they were skeptical when they saw the news, they had no clues at the moment. They could only chase after the murderer. Now that they saw it, they indeed found Xia Ping. That's right, I did kill them. Xia Ping nodded and admitted, but they are bandits. Bullshit. Hearing this, one of the bandits immediately flew into a rage. Did we ask you who they were? If I ask you if you killed them, just answer me honestly. You're still finding so many excuses here. You're simply tired of living. Many bandits glared at Xia Ping, their hearts filled with killing intent. They didn't expect this kid to actually dare to admit that he killed Yi Lao-san and the others. He was too arrogant. Originally, they thought that Xia Ping would deny it, and they would also find a lot of evidence to expose this kid's lies. But now all their actions were in vain. That kid directly admitted that he killed Yi Lao-san and the others. It was too straightforward. Although they were experienced and knowledgeable, they had never seen such an honest murderer. Don't provoke me or you won't be able to live either. Xia Ping warned. Fuck. A strong man who was 2 meters tall stood out and clenched his fists. What's the point of talking to him? Since he admitted that he killed Yi Lao-san, then kill him, draw his blood, and kill him as a sacrifice to Yi Lao-san and the others. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward and punched with a fist that was as big as a clay pot. It tore through the air and attacked. It was like the roar of a ferocious tiger, and its aura was terrifying. Even a huge rock would be smashed into pieces by this punch. Bang. At this moment, Xia Ping stretched out his left palm and gently stretched out his palm. Immediately, the fist smashed onto the left palm. Suddenly, the terrifying fist force seemed to have fallen into a swamp. All the fierce force was completely removed, leaving nothing behind. His face turned red, but he still couldn't break through Xia Ping's defense. Xia Ping punched out with his right fist. It was as fast as lightning and the air vibrated. It was like a shark rushing out of the water. This was an extremely fast and deadly punch. Dong. It was just a punch, but the fist force condensed into a substance and collided with the strong man's body. Immediately there was a loud bang like the sound of a temple bell. At this moment his entire chest was blasted open by the fist force, leaving a bloody hole. This. The strong man's eyes widened and he stared at Xia Ping. He didn't expect that a single punch would be able to tear apart the true essence defense on his body and instantly burst his heart. Chapter 511. What? Seeing the burly man fall to the ground and die miserably on the spot, the group of bandits widened their eyes. Their eyes were frighteningly red, and they felt their entire bodies tremble with anger. Previously this brat had killed third brother Yi and the others. Now he had actually killed one of their companions with a punch in front of them. This was simply too arrogant. Which one of you is tired of living? Immediately come over and accept your death. Xia Ping glanced sideways and said to the group of bandits. You're courting death. The scarred man Qin Dao roared. With a clang he pulled out the golden saber on his body. He was extremely angry and his aura fluctuated, displaying the 7th heaven of the martial master realm. He gripped the hilt of the saber tightly and slashed out. King grade martial technique, Vajra demon subduing saber. This was a supreme saber technique created by an unparalleled expert. Once it was used, it was like a glaring vajra with the power to subdue demons and slay demons. It was always successful. It could be said that this saber technique had slain countless demons and was extremely ferocious. And Qin Dao had also used this saber technique to survive in the savage forest like a fish in water. With a slash, a terrifying saber chi erupted, sweeping away groups of demons and tearing the earth apart. The surrounding bandits also seemed to see a glaring vajra appear in the world at this moment. His entire body emitted a golden light, solemn and dignified, and the entire earth was shaken by the power of this vajra. When his saber slashed out, the golden light seemed to cut through the sky, erupting with a shocking saber chi as if it could cut the world in half. Kunpeng steps. Xia Ping's figure flashed, and like a Kunpeng, he instantly moved dozens of meters away from his original spot. With a boom, the terrifying saber chi slashed down, immediately creating a crack that was hundreds of meters long on the ground. Dozens of trees in the distance crazily collapsed, rumbling loudly. Even the huge boulders were smashed into pieces by the saber chi. Dense cracks appeared on the ground like a spider web. It looked very terrifying. Your footwork is not bad, but how long can you hide for? Qin Dao roared. He did not show mercy. He gripped his long saber tightly and slashed again. The power of this slash was even more terrifying than before. Dense saber chi appeared in the air. The saber chi gathered together, forming a terrifying golden saber. At that moment, the ground trembled. The power of this saber was many times more terrifying than the previous one. The surrounding bandits were scared half to death. They fled in all directions, afraid that they would be affected by the saber chi and die in vain. Die. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. With a whoosh, taking advantage of this gap, he instantly took out the golden light mirror. He poured all of his true essence into it, immediately causing the entire mirror to emit a bright light. A wave of golden flame energy brewed in the mirror, and the mirror immediately shone towards Qin Dao. It was like a sun, bursting with dazzling light. Shoo. In the blink of an eye, the golden flaming light shot out at a speed 3 times faster than the speed of sound. An ear-piercing sound rang out in the surroundings that could even shatter eardrums. With a bang, the two forces collided crazily. It was like two mammoths colliding with each other, causing a loud explosion. The golden saber chi in front of him was immediately shattered by this ray of light, shattering inch by inch and turning into dust. When this power charged over, the air condensed into substance, stirring up circles of ripples. The ripples swept out in all directions, uprooting trees and sending them flying. Boulders were smashed into pieces and even soil was sent flying. A kilometer of land was plowed flat. Damn it! This is a treasured weapon. Why does a brat like you have a treasured weapon? Qin Dao's eyes were filled with fear. He suddenly realized that although this brat only had the true essence of a fourth heaven martial master, he had taken out a treasured weapon with infinite power. He was very clear about the power of a treasured weapon. It was a weapon that even kings desired. If an ordinary martial artist obtained a treasured weapon, it would be a piece of cake for them to challenge those of a higher level. It was enough to increase their combat power by tens of times. Qin Dao's face turned pale. At the same time, he realized that his saber technique could not withstand such power at all. It was as weak as a baby. This was a terrifying power that was above him. This is against the rules. This is against the rules. Where did this guy get a treasured weapon? Who is his dad? No wonder third brother Yi and a dozen others were killed by this brat. It turns out that he has a treasured weapon on him. It's over. This time we've kicked an iron plate. Is there anyone who can do something about this? A martial master also has a treasured weapon. This is too much. Is there any fairness? The other bandits also saw the treasured weapon that Xia Ping had taken out. All of them were so scared that their faces turned green. They had been roaming the Jianghu for a long time and had seen many things. Naturally, they knew what a treasured weapon was. It could be said that this kind of weapon could increase a martial artist's strength more than any other high-tech weapon. Having a treasured weapon would give a cultivator an overwhelming advantage over those of the same level. This was equivalent to a duel between two people. One was holding a gun while the other was bare-handed. How was this a duel? It was clearly a massacre. Too strong. Although Qin Dao had heard of the various legends of treasured weapons, he had never felt the true power of a treasured weapon. Now that he saw Xia Ping take it out, he immediately knew that this was not a weapon that he could defend against. He tried to dodge, but it was too late. The power of the golden mirror exceeded the speed of sound by more than 3 times. The distance between him and Xia Ping was only a dozen meters. At such a fast speed, at such a short distance, how could he dodge? Even with the reaction speed of a martial master, he could not react at all. With a Pucci, he could not react at all. His eyes were still in a state of shock. His chest was immediately pierced by the golden light. A bloody hole appeared in his chest and blood flowed down. The wound on his chest was even charred, and it smelled like he had been cooked. This. Qin Dao covered his bleeding chest. An intense pain spread throughout his body. He felt an unprecedented pain and his whole body was trembling. He did not expect that in just one move his life would be ended by his opponent. Xia Ping took a step forward and used the Kunpeng steps. A pair of wings grew on his back and his feet stepped on the air like a Kunpeng. In an instant he appeared in front of Qin Dao. With a bang he slapped out with his palm, causing the air to tremble for hundreds of times. Buzzing sounds could be heard as his palm slammed into Qin Dao's head. Ah! Qin Dao immediately let out a shrill scream. His entire head was smashed into pieces like a watermelon. His brain juice fell in all directions. Then, his entire body smashed into the ground, creating a huge crater and causing dust to fly everywhere. Chapter 512. Boss. Seeing Qin Dao's tragic death, many of the bandits cried out. Their eyes were wide open and their bodies were trembling. They could not believe that Qin Dao had died just like that. One had to know that Qin Dao was an expert at the 7th level of the martial master realm. In a place like the savage forest, even though he had encountered many powerful monsters, he was still able to survive until now. However, they did not expect that just by encountering a young man, their boss would be killed. Kill him. Avenge our boss. Damned bastard, I will kill you and tear you to pieces. The group of bandits were furious. They could not restrain their anger. More than a dozen of their companions had been killed, and now they had to watch helplessly as their boss died in front of them. How could they tolerate such a thing? If they did not kill this brat, they would not be able to swallow the anger in their hearts. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 20 to 30 martial master realm bandits attacked in an instant. They moved in all directions like hungry wolves, emitting a terrifying aura and bursting out of their bodies. Some held swords, some held sabers, some held long spears, and some were bare-handed. Almost all kinds of weapons were present. They displayed their unique skills and attacked Xia Ping. Streams of terrifying energy rolled over, converging into a torrent that covered the sky and covered the earth. Even if their boss Qin Dao was here, he would be killed in an instant. Good. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. His mental strength seeped into the depths of the golden light mirror. At this moment he seemed to understand some of the mysteries of the golden light mirror. With a boom, the entire golden light mirror transformed into a ball of golden light. In the dark night, a dazzling light burst out. Golden light mirror, death light net. At this moment Xia Ping threw the mirror out. It suddenly turned into a total of 36 energy mirrors. They fell from the sky and instantly spread out in an area with a radius of 1 kilometer. These energy mirrors did not fall randomly, but were distributed in a regular pattern. In an instant they surrounded the area. Rumble, immediately these energy mirrors burst out rays of golden light. They shone on each other and refracted in mid-air, forming a huge light channel. If someone were to look down into the sky, they would definitely be extremely shocked. This was because the golden light actually formed a huge 6-light formation, completely enveloping the area. Damn it, what is this? It's over. Hurry up and hide. We can't touch that golden light. Rush out. Rush out of this area immediately. Otherwise we'll definitely die. The bandits all felt a fatal killing intent. They felt as if they had fallen into a fatal trap when they were surrounded by the golden light. It was as if they had entered the mouth of some ancient beast. Although they were cold-blooded and merciless, it was undeniable that they were battle-hardened warriors with rich combat experience. They immediately knew that their current situation was extremely dangerous. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Many of the bandits were not in the mood to deal with Xia Ping. All of them quickly fled, using the fastest speed they could muster in their lives, hoping to escape this murderous area. You still want to escape? It's too late. A cold light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes. He had spent so much effort and even used the golden light mirror in order to kill these bandits. How could he let these bandits escape now? The true yuan in his body revolved, the air vibrated, and his spiritual energy turned into 36 thin lines. An obscure and mysterious fluctuation came from the void, resonating with heaven and earth. He had complete control of these energy mirrors. Strangle. With a boom, rays of condensed golden light burst out, tearing through the air like a giant web of death. They instantly surrounded the bandits. The bandits tried to dodge, but how could this be possible? The entire area was surrounded by the 36 golden light mirrors. Each golden light mirror burst out terrifying energy rays, refracting each other. It was like a human meat grinder. There was no space for them to escape. Ah! In just a second, the bandits let out shrill screams. They could not escape more than a few steps before their bodies were immediately pierced by rays of golden light. It was as if they had been beaten out of a beehive. Blood flowed everywhere. Some people's bodies were torn into countless pieces by the golden light and they fell to the ground, dead. When the golden light disappeared and the area returned to darkness, all the bandits in the area had been killed. Not a single one was left alive. Completely annihilated. With a swoosh, Xiaoping grabbed out with his hand and the 36 energy mirrors returned to their original state. They quickly fused into a single golden mirror. The inscriptions on the frame flashed, emitting a mysterious aura. What a great killing weapon. No wonder it is a treasure that even kings covet. Xiaoping was very satisfied with the effect of the golden light mirror. He did not need to waste too much time to annihilate this group of bandits. If he were to fight with his bare hands, even if he could defeat these bandits, some of them would still escape and some would slip through the net. But with the golden light mirror, its power was several times stronger. In an instant, this group of bandits was completely annihilated. Boom. Then Xiaoping slapped out with his hand. Dark red flames burst out, covering the corpses. In a few breaths, these corpses were burned to ashes. If it were not for the traces of destruction in the forest, no one would have known that these bandits had appeared here. There are quite a lot of treasures. Xiaoping also looked at the treasures left behind by these bandits. There were many precious spiritual herbs and pills for cultivation. He even found over 1,000 energy stones. It was a great harvest. He also took all these items and kept them in his storage pouch. Zhou Hao and the others are here too? Let's wait for them to gather first. For now I'll spare their lives. Xiaoping clenched his fists. Through the system he could monitor the whereabouts of Zhou Hao and the others. When he killed all the bandits and destroyed the corpses, they would have arrived at this place. They probably did not see him using the golden light mirror. Otherwise, in order to prevent the news from leaking, he would have to kill Zhou Hao and the others now. But for now he could spare their lives and wait for Zhou Hao's helpers to gather first. Swoosh. Xiaoping pretended not to notice the whereabouts of Zhou Hao and the others. After collecting all the treasures in this place, he used the Kunpeng steps and left. He wanted to find a safe cave nearby and rest for the night. Chapter 513. You must be joking. A Zhou clan disciple looked at the traces of destruction in the forest and was dumbfounded. Were those bandits all killed by that kid alone? Not a single one of them survived? That's impossible. Another Zhou clan disciple retorted, do you know how terrifying those bandits are? Their boss is a 7th-tier martial master. Even the weakest of their lackeys is a 1st-tier martial master. Most of them are 5th-tier martial masters. That kind of strength is enough to fight against a small army and even dodge missiles. Even if that kid has a treasured weapon on him, it's impossible for him to kill so many people single-handedly and not let a single one of those bandits escape. He did not believe that Xiaoping could do such a thing. The other Zhou clan disciples could not help but nod. They also felt that this matter was too ridiculous. If those bandits aren't dead, where are they now? Why can't I see a single one of them? Don't tell me they have wings and can fly away? The man asked. This. The group of people immediately fell silent. They indeed could not explain this. After all, if there were really a few of those bandits alive, there should have been some movement. At the very least, there should have been traces of them escaping. However, after looking around, they could not find any traces of the bandits escaping. Therefore, the result was very obvious. Those bandits had all been killed by that kid. Not a single one of them had escaped. Damn it. If we hadn't been slightly delayed in order to inform the clan elders and explain the situation, we would have been able to see what that kid did. A Zhou clan disciple gritted his teeth. At this moment, his wariness towards Xiaoping increased by several times. From the bottom of his heart, he felt that this kid was definitely a dangerous person. He was definitely not someone to be trifled with. If not for the clan elders supporting him, he would definitely not dare to deal with such a terrifying monster. There's no need to worry. Zhou Hao laughed coldly. No matter how powerful that kid is, he's only a martial master. How can he defeat a grandmaster? Even if I let him grow wings, he won't be able to do such a thing. Once the clan elders arrive, we'll see how arrogant he can be. He was not worried at all. He was calm and composed. When they heard this, the expressions of the other Zhou clan disciples eased up greatly. Indeed, it wasn't them who were dealing with such a monster, but the clan's elders and grandmasters. Even in the Cloud Realm, the threat of a grandmaster was terrifying. They could tear down buildings with their bare hands and resist missiles. They could fend off an army of 1,000 by themselves. In the face of a grandmaster, even a monster would have to bow his head. In my opinion, the only reason he was able to accomplish such a feat was because of that bejeweled weapon in his possession. Zhou Hao sneered, "That's even better. The stronger he is, the more monstrous he is, the more valuable that artifact will be. When the time comes, we'll be able to earn more credit. As for those dead bandits, who cares? They're cannon fodder anyway." Everyone nodded in agreement. "Let's go." Zhou Hao waved his hand. "Hurry up and follow him. Don't let that kid escape. We need to keep an eye on his every move. If we let that prized treasure slip away, we'll suffer a great loss." "Yes." The group of Zhou clansmen nodded. They quickly advanced and followed Xia Ping. In a cave in Savage Forest, a rock was placed at the entrance of the cave, blocking the entrance. Xia Ping chose this place to temporarily cultivate in seclusion. There were many energy stones on the ground, as well as some water moon grass obtained from the cold moon pool. In the dark cave, the water moon grass emitted a silver light, appearing extremely beautiful like a full moon. The air was also filled with a sweet fragrance. Water moon grass, a spirit herb that absorbs the essence of the moon and grows in an environment rich in water essence qi. It contains purine energy. Xia Ping stared at the water moon grass. "If I can refine this water moon grass, I can comprehend the way of sun and moon coexisting and reach the realm of merging water and fire. This water moon grass is a treasure for those who cultivate fire attribute techniques. It has endless benefits. If it was an ordinary martial artist, they would need to take the water moon grass back to school and let an alchemist purify it and refine it into a pill. Only then could they consume it. In truth, the so-called pills were actually all sorts of spirit herbs that were incinerated using a pill furnace. The impurities would be purified and the medicinal potency would be purified. Under high temperatures, the medicinal qi would be converted into different types of medicinal qi. These medicinal qi with different medicinal properties would fuse together and undergo a series of chemical reactions. After that, the temperature would cool down and they would solidify into a pill. This was the method of concocting pills. But to Xia Ping, who had already condensed a sun furnace, there was basically no need to go through so much trouble. He would use the sun furnace to incinerate the water moon grass and purify it into pure medicinal qi. The so-called impurities would be incinerated cleanly, leaving no harmful substances behind. After that, he could directly absorb it, saving him a lot of time. In fact, by doing this, he would be able to reduce the consumption of medicinal essence to the greatest extent. Rumble at this instant, Xia Ping circulated the pure yang immortal art and swallowed all the water moon grass into his stomach. The sun furnace in his body instantly blazed with flames. Instantly, the water moon grass was incinerated, transforming into a ball of majestic silver medicinal qi that seeped into Xia Ping's limbs and bones. In fact, it even seeped into every single cell of his. And at this moment he felt a cooling sensation. It was like there was a gentle energy in his body that entered the depths of his dantian, neutralizing the excessive fire qi in his body. A powerful life force instantly erupted forth from Xia Ping's body, causing an inconceivable change. The power of water and fire. The power of the sun and moon. At this instant, an inconceivable balance was formed within Xia Ping's body. This was the balance of yin and yang. A true energy whirlpool also formed in his dantian. Walala. Water and fire fused together, yin and yang fused together, causing an inconceivable change. Vast amounts of true energy gushed forth, flowing through his meridians and acupoints. If there was someone with penetrative vision, they would discover that there was a black and white aura within Xia Ping's body. The two auras were like flood dragons intertwining and fusing together, forming the 8 trigrams Tai Chi symbol. Behind him, the faint phantom of a golden crow of hell could be seen. It stood in the air with a single leg and a black and white wheel appeared below it, exuding an incomparably mysterious aura. The entire mountain seemed to be trembling at this moment. In a radius of 10 kilometers, a strange energy trembled, emitting waves of mysterious fluctuations. Some animals with strong instincts for danger all fled, not daring to linger in this place. Chapter 5:14. The next morning. Xia Ping opened his eyes and took a deep breath. The quintessential essence in his body flowed slowly like a surging river, containing explosive power. Every inch of his muscles was extremely powerful. After a night of cultivation and refining the water moon grass, his quintessential essence had greatly increased. He had connected 3 to 4 meridians and tempered his body, making it even stronger. Thanks to the water moon grass, he had awakened 1 or 2 infernal golden crow cells and converted them into large amounts of life energy, increasing his body's foundation. As expected of the water moon grass, its effects are too good. If I can get more water moon grass and completely refine them, then I can break through to the 5th heaven of Martial Master in a few days. It might even be possible for me to reach the 6th heaven. Xia Ping clenched his fists and the quintessential essence in his body surged. If he just cultivated by himself and absorbed and refined energy stones, he would probably need at least a year and a half to break through to the 6th heaven of Martial Master. Although this was already an extremely fast cultivation speed for other cultivators, it was still very slow for him. But to him it was still very slow. He needed to become stronger in order to advance to the next round of geniuses. However, if I want to get a large amount of water moon grass, I'll probably have to go deep into the Frost Moon Lake. There aren't many at the edge. Xia Ping had looked up information on the water moon grass. This kind of spirit grass usually grew in the depths of the Frost Moon Lake, where the water element essence chi was the most abundant. Although it would occasionally appear at the edge of the Frost Moon Lake, it was not worth mentioning compared to the depths of the Frost Moon Lake. However, the depths of the Frost Moon Lake was the lair of the Silver WRM King. There were countless snake demons stationed there. It was simply a tiger's den. If ordinary humans wanted to go in, they would only be sending themselves to death and become food. Even king-level humans would not dare to trespass the Frost Moon Lake. That's right, that treasure pearl can conceal my aura and distort my aura, achieving a state of invisibility. If I can get that pearl, I will definitely be able to easily sneak into the Frost Moon Lake and take the opportunity to obtain a large amount of water moon grass. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He knew how powerful that pearl was. Even with his mental energy, he would not be able to sense it if the other party was not hostile. If he could get his hands on it, even the Silver WRM King would not be able to sense it if he was careful. In this way, the cold moon pool was practically his own backyard, and he could get as much water moon grass as he wanted. Furthermore, the treasures in this place weren't limited to just the water moon grass. After all, this was one of the 72 caves of the demon race. It was the cave where the Silver WRM King resided. There were countless treasures inside. If he could sneak in and plunder without restraint, he would definitely obtain great benefits. And judging from the time, the Zhou clan should have arrived by now. Let's go out and meet them. Xia Ping stood up and patted the dust off his body. Crackling sounds could be heard, and all the bones in his body emitted thunderous sounds. This was a phenomenon that would only occur when one's body reached a certain level of strength. With a boom, he punched out, and the huge rock blocking the entrance of the cave immediately shattered into pieces. Pieces of rubble fell to the ground, and more than half of the rock was smashed into powder. Immediately, the sunlight from the outside slanted in and illuminated the entire cave. Xia Ping also walked out of the cave and stretched his body. He used his spiritual power to sense the surroundings and immediately sensed that there were many powerful auras hidden in the surroundings. They were all hiding in the depths of the forest, like wild wolves lying in ambush, their killing intent brewing. Come out. Xia Ping stood on the ground and said faintly, "Don't hide here. The auras on your bodies are just like the sun. They can't be hidden at all. Or rather, you don't want to hide at all." He said straightforwardly to the martial artists lying in ambush. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, the trees in the forest shook. It seemed that after hearing these words, 15 or 16 figures immediately appeared from all directions and appeared in front of Xia Ping. Although the number of people was not as large as the bandit group last night, each of them was extremely powerful. They were at least at the peak of the martial master realm. Among them, there were 2 middle-aged men who were grand masters. Just by standing there, they were like mountains, exuding an unparalleled aura. The strongest one was wearing a white robe and had a goatee. His cultivation had reached the peak of the Grandmaster realm. This kind of strength was not inferior to the city lord of Western Wilderness City, Wudong Hai. Not bad, not bad. The middle-aged man with a goatee clapped his hands and looked at Xia Ping with admiration. Although we did not deliberately hide, a young man in the 4th heaven of Martial Master was able to detect our auras. It is not easy. He's indeed a rare genius. Although he was praising Xia Ping, there was no warmth in his tone. His eyes were cold and emotionless. He looked at Xia Ping as if he was looking at an ant. It was as if he was saying that no matter how strong Xiaoping was in his eyes, he was just a child, not worth mentioning. This was a condescending attitude. However, he also had this qualification because he was a Grand Master. Such a person could blow up a small mountain with one punch. He could single-handedly wipe out 1,000 troops. He could be called a humanoid Gundam. Apart from the king, he could be said to be invincible in the world. There were very few people who could be looked up to by such a person. You guys came here early in the morning. What do you want? Even a Grand Master is here. Do you want to chat with me? Xiaoping asked. His expression was very calm. Your cultivation is not bad and your mentality is not bad. The man with a goatee smiled slightly. You are actually so humble in front of a Grand Master. It is rare. Cut the crap. Before he could finish, Xiaoping interrupted the man with a goatee. I'm asking you what you are here for. I don't want to chat with you. If you have nothing to do, then scram. I have no time for you. His words were simple and direct. However, the man with a goatee's face suddenly darkened. A trace of anger surged in his heart. Ever since he had become a Grand Master, no one had dared to speak to him in such a tone. However, this kid was so arrogant. He even asked them to scram. He was too rude and too arrogant. However, Xiaoping had long known that this group of people was here to kill him and steal his treasures. Facing a group of robbers, how could he be polite? He would be considered to have a good temper if he did not destroy them. Too presumptuous. Before the man with a goatee could speak, a man in black who was at the peak of martial master next to him shouted angrily, "Kid, what kind of attitude is this? Who is your master? Where are your parents? Didn't they teach you to maintain a respectful and humble attitude when you meet a Grand Master? You actually told us to scram. You are too arrogant. Believe it or not, I will cripple you. Even if I take you to the federal court, you won't win." Chapter 5:15. Hearing this, Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. There was indeed such a rule in the federal law. Once a martial artist became a Grand Master, they would have all sorts of privileges. Ordinary martial artists had to be respectful and humble when they met a Grand Master. They were not allowed to show any disrespect. If they angered a Grand Master and spoke rudely, even if the Grand Master crippled the other party, the federal government would not be able to do anything. They might even stand on the side of the Grand Master and find the person who spoke rudely and put them in jail for 15 days. No one could be released on bail. In this world, Grand Masters could not be insulted. Those who insulted them must die. So, what do you want? Xiaoping asked calmly. The man in black sneered, "What we want you to do is simple. I heard that you have a valuable treasure on you. As long as you hand it over, we will spare your worthless life." He revealed the true purpose of these people. Treasure? Are you talking about this hell spear? With a swoosh, Xiaoping immediately took out the hell spear from his spatial ring and held it in his hand. The moment the hell spear appeared, a terrifying aura was generated with Xiaoping as the center. It spread over a radius of 3 kilometers as if forming a vortex of hell's aura. Even the group of martial artists in front of him could not help but take a few steps back, barely withstanding the terrifying aura of the spear. At this moment, the ground seemed to have cracked from the impact. The two Grandmasters did not retreat. They clasped their hands behind their backs, looking calm and collected. However, their hearts were not calm at all. Waves of shock surged within them because the moment the spear was taken out, they actually felt a sense of threat. This treasure was clearly in the hands of a mere martial artist, but it made them feel threatened. From this, it could be seen how terrifying this spear was. It was definitely an incredible treasure. Yes, that's right. This is the treasure. The man in black's eyes lit up, revealing a greedy look. Hand it over immediately and we will spare your life. He immediately stepped forward to demand it. The two Grandmasters were shocked. If it were not for the fact that they had to maintain the demeanor of a Grandmaster, they would have attacked immediately and snatched the hell spear for themselves. The spear in front of them could be said to be priceless. Even if they offered up all their possessions, they would not be able to buy it. How many people are there? To put it simply, where are Zhou Hao and the others? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and said straightforwardly, "He brought you Zhou family elders here, but he doesn't dare to appear in front of me. Is he afraid to face me?" What? The goateed man and the others were shocked. They did not expect Xiaoping to know that they were from the Zhou family. In other words, the ambush that they thought was flawless had long been seen through? But why was this brat so calm and composed? Could it be that he had set up some sort of trap here? Did they want to kill them in one fell swoop? However, when they used their mental power to sense the surroundings, they found that there was only Xiaoping in this place. There were no other powerful martial artists lying in ambush, so they immediately felt relieved. Even if this kid had seen through the Zhou family's plan, the gap in strength could not be made up for. With a grandmaster here, he could be killed with one slap. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just then, there was some movement in the forest in the distance. Immediately, 4 to 5 people walked out from the depths of the forest. It was Zhou Hao and the others. When they heard the conversation, they knew that they could not hide it anymore, so they walked over. However, their expressions were very awkward, as if it was difficult to face Xiaoping. Initially, they wanted to let the Zhou family elders kill this kid, then they would come out. That way they would not have to face Xiaoping. However, they did not expect that their identities would be exposed before the fight even started. Zhou Hao. Xiaoping looked at Zhou Hao and the others. I saved your lives. If it wasn't for me, you would have been killed by those bandits. None of you would have been able to live until now. But what's going on now? You called your Zhou family elders over, and even a grandmaster is here. They look fierce and murderous, and they surrounded me. They even want to rob me of my treasures? Your Zhou family, Zhou Hao, is this how you repay your benefactor? He asked one question after another. The expressions of the people from the Zhou clan were extremely gloomy and their faces were flushed red. That was indeed the case. The other party had clearly saved their lives, but for the sake of a treasure, they had the intention to kill their benefactor. How cruel and unscrupulous were they? This was not something a human could do. He was a beast. Bullshit. Zhou Hao roared, you're not trying to save me, Zhou Hao's life. You're obviously harboring evil intentions. You want to use this incident to build a relationship with my Zhou family. You want to ride on my coattails. If that wasn't the case, would you be so kind as to save a complete stranger so easily? I don't believe that you're really that kind. I even suspect that you are in cahoots with those bandits. Both sides are playing the trick of injuring themselves to gain the confidence of others. You want to take this opportunity to show kindness to my Zhou family and have my Zhou family owe you a favor. You're just a greedy person. We're all about the same. What right do you have to criticize me? He was distorting the truth. Every word he said was sharp. Originally, Xiaoping had saved their lives. But from Zhou Hao's mouth, it became a trap. He and the bandits were putting on a show, playing the trick of injuring themselves to gain their trust. The purpose of this was to show kindness to the Zhou family and gain their favor. This way, Xiaoping would have a relationship with the Zhou family. This way, Xiaoping could gain endless benefits. I see. I didn't expect this kid to be so scheming. Despicable person. What a despicable person. He actually thought of such a trick. Luckily, Big Brother Zhou is extremely talented and smart. He didn't get tricked by this kid. Otherwise, we would really have been sold by him. We'd still be counting money for him. To think that my Zhou clan is a king clan with overwhelming power and influence. Naturally, there is no lack of people who flatter and flatter us. This brat has put in a lot of effort wanting to curry favor with my Zhou clan. Indeed. Receiving the Zhou family's appreciation can save him 20 years of hard work. Who wouldn't be tempted? But this method is too despicable. It's despicable. Many of the Zhou family members laughed coldly. They made a countercharge. Not only did they not acknowledge Xiaoping's kindness of saving their lives, but they also thought that this was a meticulously planned scheme by Xiaoping. Their goal was to curry favor with the Zhou family and gain benefits. If that was the case, then this was not a favor and they had no need to repay it. Chapter 5:16. Planning this? Fawning on your Zhou family? Xiaoping instantly laughed out loud. What are you laughing at? A Zhou family disciple said unhappily, our Zhou family is a famous sovereign family in the Cloud Realm. Our ancestor is known as the Shangzhou King. Our Zhou family's commercial plates are spread across hundreds of human cities, and our assets are trillions of federal coins. We have many martial masters and grandmasters under our command. We even control a super city, enough to establish a kingdom in the Cloud Realm. Even the federal government has to be polite to our Zhou family. Our Zhou family even has people in the military, government, and business. We are extremely powerful. With our Zhou family's help, an ordinary person will have to struggle less than 10 years. You're just a commoner with no power or influence. Is it strange that you want to curry favor with my Zhou family? He pointed out the reason why Xiaoping wanted to fawn on the Zhou family. The other disciples of the Zhou clan were also sneering. That was indeed the case. Although they were just spouting nonsense, they believed that the majority of people would believe them even if they were to say it out loud. In the Cloud Realm, there were very few people who did not want to fawn on the Zhou family, especially the commoners. I have a way to prove that I am not fawning on your Zhou family, Xiaoping said lightly. Xiaoping said lightly. Interesting. How do you want to prove it? Zhou Hao did not believe that Xiaoping could do such a thing because there was no evidence. The bandits had been killed by Xiaoping long ago, and there were no witnesses to prove it. What could this powerless poor boy do to them? The bandits had been killed by Xiaoping long ago, and there were no witnesses to prove it. They denied it. What could this powerless poor boy do to them? The Zhou family elder, Zhou Bin, and the others looked at Xiaoping with interest. They wanted to know how this boy would prove it because he was like a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Boom. At that moment, Xiaoping threw the hell spear in his hand. Immediately, the hell spear emitted a large amount of black aura. Like a black energy, it cut through the sky like a white rainbow piercing the sun. The speed was unbelievably fast. This speed was beyond the imagination of human warriors. Like a ray of light, the warriors present only saw a dazzling light appear like a meteor. With a squelch, Zhou Hao, who was proud of himself and wanted to ask Xiaoping for evidence, was instantly pierced by the hell spear. A large hole appeared in his chest and blood splattered everywhere. Dong. Immediately, the black energy exploded like a miniature nuclear bomb. It blew Zhou Hao's body into pieces and turned him into a pile of minced meat. Even Zhou Hao's 3 or 4 companions didn't expect such a thing to happen. They were affected by the black energy and were killed by the shockwave. One by one they fell to the ground and spat out a large amount of blood. Their eyes were opened wide as if they couldn't believe that they were stabbed to death by a single spear from this young man before them. But no matter how unwilling they were, their internal organs had been shattered into pieces. Even if a deity came, he wouldn't be able to save them. Bastard. Seeing this situation, the Zhou family elder Zhou Bin's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Xiaoping. You damned beast, you lowly bastard, you actually dared to kill them? He would never have thought that this would happen. They had 2 grandmasters and more than 10 peak martial masters on their side, while the other party only had 1 person, and he was only a 4th heaven of martial master. They had the upper hand. Under normal circumstances, the other party should have been scared half to death, unable to move, or even kneeling and begging for mercy. They didn't expect that the other party wasn't scared and even dared to kill Zhou Hao and his companions right in front of them, killing them with a single spear strike. It was a clean and efficient kill. Didn't you want evidence just now? This is the evidence. Xiaoping made a grabbing motion and the hell spear immediately turned into a black ray of light and returned to his hand. After completely refining the hell spear, he could control it as he pleased. With a tremble of his mental strength, he could retrieve the hell spear and use it as he pleased. It was said that if the treasured weapon could continue to be refined, it could even be merged into one's own body, becoming one with the weapon. This way, one could take it out at any time and no one would be able to snatch it away. Unless the host died. Evidence. Hearing this, the Zhou family's disciples were dumbfounded. Their eyes turned red and they felt a burning rage in their hearts. They instantly understood what Xiaoping meant. Before this, they were all mocking Xiaoping, saying that he wanted to curry favor with the Zhou family and use the Zhou family's power to fight for 20 years less. They said that he was a sycophant who only knew how to play tricks. But now Xiaoping killed Zhou Hao and a few Zhou family disciples. This immediately made him a mortal enemy of the Zhou family. This was practically a fight to the death. With this, who would dare to say that he wanted to curry favor with the Zhou family? If he really wanted to curry favor with the Zhou family, then he should be respectful and flattering the Zhou family disciples. How would he dare to touch a hair of the Zhou family disciples? Now that Xiaoping killed the Zhou family disciples, he was openly telling them that the Zhou family was nothing more than this. He could kill the so-called Zhou family disciples if he wanted to. There was no need to curry favor with them. In this world, there was probably no stronger evidence than this. In order to prove that you didn't curry favor with the Zhou family, you killed a few of my Zhou family's descendants. You're too arrogant. The Zhou family's elder Zhou Bin widened his eyes. His heart was like a volcano. He had never felt such anger in his life. He was a dignified grandmaster and an elder of the Zhou clan, but a junior had actually dared to kill a Zhou clan disciple right in front of him. This was simply lawless. And he said that this was proof that he didn't intend to curry favor with the Zhou family? Just for a little bit of evidence, this kid killed a few of the Zhou family's descendants with great potential. Zhou Bin could not imagine how terrifying the great ancestor's rage would be if he found out about this. Right now he wanted nothing more than to skin Xiaoping alive. Elder, kill him. One of the Zhou family's elites roared. He was furious. He's unforgivable. Death penalty. Execute him immediately. No one can kill a Zhou family disciple and live. I'm going to tear him to pieces. He was extremely angry. When did the Zhou family, a king, fall to such an extent? They were rubbed in the nose and glared at by a junior, and a few of the Zhou family's descendants were killed on the spot. If this matter were to spread, the Zhou family would be completely disgraced and become a laughingstock for 1,000 years. Little bastard, I'll kill you. The Zhou family's elder Zhou Bin roared. His face was flushed red, and a terrifying grandmaster aura erupted from his body. His clothes fluttered even though there was no wind, and his aura was like a mountain. Chapter 517. This brat is dead meat. Some of the Zhou clan elites were sneering. They looked at Xia Ping as if they were looking at a dead person. A mere martial master junior actually dared to offend a grandmaster so brazenly. He simply did not know how to write the word death. It would only take a second for the grandmaster to turn this brat into minced meat. The difference between a grandmaster and a martial master was too great. Even if one had a bejeweled weapon, it would not be able to bridge the gap between the two. Kill me? You're not qualified to do so. Xia Ping's expression was calm. He was not affected by Zhou Bin's aura at all. He stood there calmly. Boom. At that moment, the air in the sky twisted and a huge spaceship appeared. This was Xia Ping's private spaceship, the Radiant God. It had used the system to hide in mid-air. Even a grandmaster would not be able to detect its presence when he used his mind energy. Now, under Xia Ping's command, it had appeared. Whoosh. At that moment, the Radiant God exploded with a shocking energy cannon. It condensed into a solid form and exploded with terrifying destructive power. The power of this cannon was enough to destroy a small mountain. Furthermore, this energy cannon was extremely fast. Could even reach 8 times the speed of sound. Damn it, why does this brat have a private spaceship? And it's even equipped with the military's energy cannon. How is this possible? The moment the Radiant God appeared in the sky, before the energy cannon was activated, Zhou Bin's sixth sense as a grandmaster immediately surged. A strong sense of danger spread through his entire body. Grandmaster Zhou Bin's eyes were wide open. He felt that if he continued to attack Xia Ping, he would be killed by the energy cannon before he could kill Xia Ping. Not even his ashes would be left. Dodge. At that moment, Zhou Bin's speed had reached the limit of his life. The earth energy in his body was boiling. The friction with the air was so strong that it was on fire. He leaped to the side in an instant, traversing a distance of several hundred meters. Boom. A beam of light descended from the sky. It was like the finger of Buddha. In an instant, it flattened the entire ground. A huge cylindrical pit with a diameter of more than 100 meters was created. The surrounding soil had been burnt to a crisp by the high temperature of the light pillar, turning pitch black. Countless cracks had appeared on the ground, extending for hundreds of meters. Seeing this situation, Zhou Bin was so scared that his face turned green. His whole body was trembling. If he had been one step slower, he would have been blasted into pieces by this energy beam. Holy shit, what's going on? Didn't they say that this kid is a commoner with no power or influence? What's with this private spaceship? Look at its shell, look at its materials, look at its engine, look at its weapons and equipment. It's worth at least 100 billion federal coins, not even a dime less. You must be joking. Even a grandmaster wouldn't be able to afford such equipment. It's too exaggerated. Where did this kid come from? How could he afford such a private spaceship? That's against the rules. Many of the Zhou Consortium elites were also scared to death. They were instantly stunned by the appearance of the Radiant God. Such a spaceship could be said to be the crystallization of humanity's most advanced intelligence. It was a powerful weapon that could change the direction of a war. In terms of individual strength, humans were far inferior to the demons. But it was precisely because of these high-tech weapons that one could fight against 100 demons. This was why humans were able to beat the demons into a retreat and occupy large swathes of land. This was the power of science and technology. The problem was that high technology required money, and those without money could only play by themselves. Such a divine weapon of war was not something that could be bought with money. One had to be extremely rich to be able to buy it. Even if a sovereign family wanted to buy such a spaceship, they would have to consider it carefully. Even if they managed to buy it, they would not use it unless it was a critical moment. Only the core bigwigs of the family could use it. Zhou Consortium elites like them were too far away from the position of the Zhou Consortium's core bigwigs. They had no right to come into contact with such a spaceship and could only watch helplessly. But now, this kid had taken out such a super private spaceship. It immediately scared them silly. This commoner was actually richer than them? Was this really realistic? Kill him. Xia Ping showed no mercy. He immediately ordered the private spaceship, the Radiant God. The AI received the order and immediately activated the entire spaceship's weapon system. A powerful scanning ability covered a radius of 500 kilometers, completely locking onto the target. Swish, swish, swish. In just an instant, more than a dozen cannons on the spaceship opened. Each of the cannons was brewing with terrifying energy, and they all blasted toward Zhou Bin. Immediately, columns of energy shot out crazily, forming a web of death. Damn it! Zhou Bin roared. His hair stood on end. Being targeted by a spaceship was no different from being targeted by the Grim Reaper. It was as if he would be killed in the next second and die a graveless death. He frantically circulated the Gang Qi in his body. His spiritual power was highly concentrated, almost entering the extreme realm of martial arts. In just a few seconds he fled toward a huge mountain range in the distance. As long as he could hide in the complex terrain of the mountain range and rely on the trees and the endless mountains, he would definitely be able to survive. Columns of energy shot out, covering the sky and covering the earth. This was simply a saturated attack, covering an area. The Radiant God even locked onto Zhou Bin's aura and chased after him. Dong dong dong. Immediately the entire ground trembled. Huge craters appeared, just like the surface of the moon. When the columns of energy landed on the ground, they immediately blasted out huge craters. Even the soil was instantly vaporized. Zhou Bin tried to hide in the depths of the mountains, using the huge rocks and the complex terrain to survive. But it was useless. The destructive power of such energy columns was simply too terrifying. Even a small mountain would be pierced in an instant, and the entire stone mountain would explode. Along the way, small mountains crumbled, rocks crumbled, trees were uprooted, and the surroundings were razed to the ground. It was as if a small-scale war had broken out. With the sixth sense of a grandmaster, Zhou Bin reached the realm of being able to foresee the arrival of the cicada before the autumn wind blows. He could predict the time and power of the energy pillars' attacks. He desperately dodged the energy pillars. However, the number of light pillars covering the sky was too terrifying. No matter how high his cultivation level was, a single mistake would be fatal. Just one mistake would be enough to kill him. With a boom, a column of light blasted Zhou Bin's body, instantly shattering the Gang Qi defense on his body. Even a huge human-shaped crater appeared on the ground. The air vibrated hundreds of times, causing Zhou Bin to cough up blood. His internal organs were all severely injured. Chapter 518. Stop. He's a grandmaster of our Zhou family. You can't kill him. Damn it, do you know what you're doing? Killing a grandmaster is a serious crime. A serious crime, do you know that? Upon seeing this, numerous Zhou clan elites let out a loud roar as their eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. If Xia Ping were to continue like this, it was likely that Zhou Bin would be killed alive in this place. To the Zhou family this was an unbearable burden. Any grandmaster was the core combat power of a clan. To nurture one who knew how many years and resources would be wasted. If he was killed here, even if the Zhou family was a king family, they would be heavily injured. Go to hell. Xia Ping did not hesitate at all. These Zhou family members wanted to kill him. Why couldn't he fight back and kill them? Their Zhou family's people were lives, but his wasn't. Since he had the resolve to kill and steal, he had to bear the consequences of being killed. Trying to stop him with just a few words and make him give up on killing Zhou Bin? You must be dreaming. Even the King Zhou family could not stop him. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, a beam of light descended from the sky and struck Zhou Bin's body with the speed of a sudden clap of thunder. No. Zhou Bin was terrified to the extreme. His face was pale. He did not expect to be reduced to such a state. He was a grandmaster, the strongest person below the king level. In the entire federal government, a grandmaster was equivalent to a general. They could command hundreds of thousands of troops and had great power. They also had many special privileges. But now he was facing a disaster. He was forced to this state by a junior. He would never have thought that something like this would happen. However, it was too late for him to dodge. Such an attack was extremely fast. Even a grandmaster's reaction speed could not keep up or block it. That was because the spaceship's attack system was modified to annihilate grandmaster monsters. If the attack power was weak, it would be impossible to do it. In the blink of an eye. With a boom, Zhou Bin's entire body was struck. The Gang Qi on his body instantly shattered, and his chest was pierced by the tyrannical energy. His entire body suffered an extremely strong impact and he was pushed back 5 or 6 kilometers. He fiercely smashed into a huge mountain in the distance. His entire body was deeply embedded in the mountain wall. All the bones in his body were shattered and his heart was crushed. He could not be more dead. Elder. The group of elites from the Zhou family stared at Zhou Bin, who had been killed by the energy cannon. At the moment they saw Zhou Bin die, they could not believe that a grandmaster had died in this place. He didn't die in a battle with a grandmaster monster, nor did he die from offending a king. Instead, he was killed by a junior controlling a spaceship. They thought of how complacent they were earlier, thinking that it would be easy for them to surround and kill a junior. Even if that fellow had wings, he would not be able to escape. But how could they have known that this was a trap? A trap that had lured them over and annihilated them all. Little bastard. A Zhou family elite roared. How dare you kill a grandmaster of our Zhou family? Don't think that there will be no consequences for doing such a thing. If our patriarch finds out, you will die even if you escape to the ends of the world. His face was flushed and he was already mad with anger. This was a grandmaster, not some random cat or dog. He was equivalent to a super weapon of a king family. But now he had been killed by this brat. It was no less than losing hundreds of billions of federal coins. How dare you threaten me when you're at death's door? There's no need for tomorrow. I'll annihilate all of you today, Xiaoping said calmly to the group of Zhou family elites and immediately controlled the spaceship. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, the cannons of the spaceship in the sky slowly turned, aiming at the group of Zhou family elites on the ground. It only needed a second to recharge before it exploded. Bastard. He's trying to silence us. He's killing all of us so that he can destroy our corpses. What a vicious little bastard. We definitely can't let him succeed. We must report to the patriarch and annihilate this brat. Yes, we can't let the elder die in vain. How can a grandmaster of the Zhou family be so easily humiliated? A debt of blood must be paid with blood. One by one, the Zhou family elites roared, swearing to kill this little bastard Xiaoping. They would not rest until he was dead. But while their thoughts were beautiful, reality was cruel. Under the bombardment of the spaceship's energy cannons, they interweaved into a huge net of death. It was as if thousands of missiles had smashed down, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Rumble, in just an instant, there was a huge energy explosion within a radius of 1 kilometer. Immediately, these Zhou family elites had no way to escape and were immediately affected by the energy. The protective techniques on their bodies were immediately shattered, and their entire bodies were shattered into pieces, turning into broken limbs and bones. Large amounts of blood flowed on the ground. They didn't even have the chance to send a message before they were blasted to death. What a powerful war weapon. Xiaoping was also secretly amazed. At the same time, he was also very satisfied. As expected of the spaceship that he had spent 150 billion federal coins to modify. Such an attack system lived up to its reputation. He reckoned that if he drove this spaceship out, as long as he didn't encounter a demon king, he would be invincible. There's someone still alive. All of a sudden, Xiaoping's mental strength sensed a faint fluctuation in the void. Under the shroud of dust, a figure was trying to use the terrain to quickly escape into the distance. And this person was the other grandmaster of the Zhou family. Under the baptism of the energy cannons just now, he had relied on his tyrannical protective aura technique and exquisite footwork to barely avoid the fatal blow and was temporarily not dead. But even so, he was seriously injured by the energy cannons and lost 99% of his strength. Now he was like a stray dog, quickly fleeing into the distance, hoping to survive. Kill? Xiaoping gripped the hell spear in his hand tightly and took a step forward. The qigong on his body was boiling, as if even the air was being burned by a terrifying flame. An illusion of a golden crow of hell appeared behind him. Swoosh! Like a primordial god, all the muscles on his body swelled up. Inch by inch, strength was transmitted from the soles of his feet, and finally along his joints, bit by bit, until it reached his fingers. At this moment the air exploded. The hell spear was immediately thrown out, tearing through the air and turning into a black energy spear. With lightning speed, it instantly bombarded the grandmaster of the Zhou family. With a bang, like the morning bell and evening drum, the hell spear instantly pierced through the body of the grandmaster of the Zhou family. The powerful force of inertia sent his body flying for a full kilometer before he was finally nailed to the huge mountain wall in front of him. Blood dripped down from the wound. His eyes were wide open and he died with a grievance. Chapter 519. Walala, Xiaoping made his move and burned the corpses of the Zhou family's elites to death one by one, turning them into ashes and destroying all traces of their corpses. It was estimated that even if a brilliant detective came here, he would not know how they died. Moreover, this was the savage forest. There were no people at all. Demonic beasts ran rampant and there were no witnesses. No matter how powerful the Zhou family was, they would not be able to track him. At this time the system prompted, "Congratulations to the host. This time you have obtained a total of 5 million hatred points." 5 million hatred points. Xiaoping was very satisfied. In addition to what he had obtained before, he now had a total of 20 million hatred points. This kind of hatred points was enough for him to buy a lot of precious manuals and pills. However, he still needed to think about how to use it. These elites of the Zhou clan are indeed overflowing with wealth, as expected of members of a king clan. After dealing with the environment, Xiaoping also obtained a lot of treasures from these Zhou family elites. Some rare elixirs and some cultivation pills. It was estimated that the value of these resources alone was no less than 20,000 energy stones. And these things were probably the harvest they had obtained in the savage forest, but now they all belonged to him. However, they did not carry many energy stones with them. After all, without a space ring, it was not very convenient to carry energy stones. It was considered a burden. Most people would not carry much out. Invisible bead. Is this the treasure invisible bead? Soon, Xiaoping found a transparent bead on Zhou Hao's body. It seemed to contain a unique energy as if there was a mysterious fog in it. It was this bead that concealed the aura of Zhou Hao and the others. If it wasn't for the system monitoring him, he probably wouldn't have been able to discover the existence of Zhou Hao and the others. One could imagine how amazing this bead was. If it was auctioned, its value would be enough to make countless warriors go crazy. Even the King Realm warriors would come out to fight for it. If the Zhou family knew that their family's treasure had been lost just like that, they would probably all go crazy. This was worse than the death of a grandmaster. After all, such a treasure would never be found again. However, as long as a grandmaster spent a certain amount of time and resources, they could still be cultivated. I wonder what effect this treasure has? Xiaoping's heart stirred, and he immediately instilled his Jinqi into the bead. Immediately, the mysterious energy contained in the bead surged out, and the surrounding light and magnetic field all distorted. He felt as if his body was wrapped in a strange energy. This energy isolated the surrounding aura and formed an independent space, making him feel as if he was in a different dimension. This kind of concealment effect was many times better than the invisible pill he had taken in the past. Speed up. Xiaoping's figure flashed as he executed the Kunpeng steps, sprinting forward. However, no matter how fast he moved, the effects of the invisibility pearl didn't seem to disappear. A mass of energy still wrapped around his body. Furthermore, it was soundless and did not cause any vibrations in the surrounding air. Powerful, truly powerful. No wonder I could not sense Zhou Hao and the others earlier. This prized artifact's effect is truly wondrous. Xiaoping praised. He knew that he had gained a great advantage this time. With this invisibility bead, he could probably enter and exit all kinds of dangerous places to search for treasures. He wouldn't have to worry about being discovered by some tyrannical monster. It would be many times safer. I'll go to Cold Moon Lake now, go deep into the lake and harvest large amounts of water moon grass. Xiaoping immediately made a decision. With a treasure like the invisibility bead, he would be able to go deep into Cold Moon Lake. He parked the luminous god and then set off for Cold Moon Lake. A few hours later, Xiaoping once again arrived at Cold Moon Lake. However, at this time, many snake demons appeared around Cold Moon Lake. They were clad in armor and held long spears in their hands. They were filled with killing intent, and their expressions were solemn as if they were facing a great enemy. The number of snake demon guards patrolling the surroundings was several times more than the previous night, perhaps even more than 10 times. What's going on? Why are there suddenly so many snake demon guards? Could something big have happened in Cold Moon Lake? Xiaoping's heart jumped. He activated the invisibility bead and turned his body invisible. Soon he approached the group of snake demon guards without being discovered by any of them. In fact, they didn't even know that someone was standing beside them. He saw a snake demon captain lecturing a group of snake demon guards. Remember, you must increase the patrolling of the surrounding area. Do not let go of any clues. Last night, a group of guards disappeared here. Even the water moon grass was picked clean. They were robbed even more cleanly than their faces. I reckon that group of guards also met with misfortune. Without a doubt, A despicable human must have approached our cold moon lake and tried to steal the water moon grass. That's why our commander is furious. He must capture that despicable human and avenge his dead brothers. It roared. But Captain, a snake demon guard asked, even if a human approached Cold Moon Lake last night, the problem is that he has already picked all the cold moon grass. Is it possible that he has already left? It raised its own question. That's right. If the murderer has already left, then what we are doing is useless. Patrolling here is also a waste of time and energy. Many snake demons nodded. They were worried about this. That's indeed possible. The snake demon captain also admitted this point. But the commander suspects that the human murderer killed 16 martial master level guards in an instant. This kind of strength is not to be underestimated. It's very likely that he is a grandmaster. If such a person needs the water moon grass, just the bit by the lake is definitely not enough. Therefore, the commander guessed that the human might come again. He might even go deep into Cold Moon Lake. Therefore, you must not relax for now. Increase the patrolling and guard against external enemies. It stated the reason for the tight security. Yes, Captain. The group of snake demons shouted. They all increased the patrolling nearby. Their eyes were vigilant and they could sense the heat within several kilometers. Even the wind and grass couldn't hide from them. However, this ability was obviously useless against Xia Ping, who had the invisibility pearl. He was standing next to the snake demons now, but they didn't notice him. I didn't expect these snake demons to be so powerful. Their intelligence is amazing. They can actually guess that I will come again from the clues. Xia Ping was also secretly amazed by the snake demons' intelligence. Their intelligence was definitely not inferior to that of humans. Unfortunately, he had the invisibility pearl. No matter how these snake demons imagined, they couldn't imagine that such a treasure existed in the world. Therefore, no matter how vigilant they were, they couldn't find any traces of Xia Ping. Let's go in and take a look. Chapter 520. Whoosh. Xia Ping immediately jumped into the cold moon pool. Immediately, he felt a threatening chill that wanted to penetrate into his internal organs. The pool water contained a powerful cold baleful qi. However, he operated the qigong in his body. Flames flowed and burned the cold aura completely expelling it. He even formed an energy shield on the surface of his body, preventing the cold aura from getting close. At the same time, the invisible pearl seemed to vibrate and condensed into a sphere, surrounding Xia Ping's body and isolating him from the surrounding water. This transparent energy shield even merged with the surrounding water and could absorb the aura in the gaps of the water, filling the energy shield with air. It was like living on land. No way, this invisible pearl actually has the function of avoiding water? Xia Ping was extremely surprised. This was really beyond his expectations. He originally thought that the invisible pearl could only hide his aura. However, he did not expect that after entering the cold moon pool, it would immediately activate its second ability, which was to avoid water. With this pearl, he could simply walk around the cold moon pool without worrying about the lack of oxygen. Now he was almost like an ordinary fish. Walala, Xia Ping went deep into the cold moon pool and walked in the water. He immediately saw the strange underwater world. In this deep pool, not only were there snake demons, but there were also many powerful fish. There was a black fish with a huge body, a full 10 meters long. It was swallowing water elemental aura in big mouthfuls and fighting with a snake demon. It immediately condensed the aura into a sword and instantly blasted the snake demon into 3 parts. In the distance, there was also a purple snake demon that was dozens of meters long. It was huge and opened its mouth wide, swallowing hundreds of black fish in front of it in one gulp as if it was eating snacks. Even though this was the country of monsters, monsters did not get along well with each other. Sometimes, in order to compete for resources, they might even fight more fiercely than humans. What surprised Xia Ping the most was that there was a python that was hundreds of meters long under the water. It was lying on the ground like a small mountain, full of pressure. It was at least a grandmaster. This was a demon general. Around its body there were many boulders. These boulders were piled up together, forming a natural qi gathering formation that could absorb the vast qi of heaven and earth around it. In fact, it had even deliberately arranged these boulders to form walls and houses. Upon closer inspection, it looked like a small town with many small pythons living in it. These little pythons were probably either its descendants or its subordinates. This was already a simplified version of a monster kingdom. In terms of scale, it was equivalent to a small human town. Moreover, this was not a special case. Along the way there were many small towns at the bottom of the lake with monsters. Each small town was guarded by a Grandmaster Realm monster. Demons are indeed intelligent. I can't underestimate them. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. The deeper he ventured into the demon kingdom, the more he understood that these demons were not a simple race. It was no wonder that even with the overwhelming technological prowess of humans, they still suffered heavy losses in the war against the demon clan and had no choice but to sign a peace treaty. Along the way Xiaoping saw many incredible things. On the fertile land at the bottom of the lake, there were many spiritual herbs planted, such as water lingji, water ginseng, water deer antler, snow lotus, and so on. They were densely packed, and the underwater medicinal field stretched for thousands of miles. These spiritual herbs were probably used by the demons to refine various elixirs to enhance their own cultivation. There were many alchemy masters and grandmasters among the demon clan. In addition to the spiritual herbs, there was also a vast land planted with spiritual rice. These spiritual rice were the same as human rice and were regarded as the staple food of these demons. They contained pure energy and could be eaten to maintain the daily consumption of qi and blood, which was extremely important. Without this rice field, it was estimated that millions of demons would starve to death. Although Xiaoping had long known that the demons in the Cloud Realm were not simple, when he entered this place, he truly realized that they were a race no less intelligent than humans. It was just that the direction of evolution and technology of both sides were different. I wonder where the Silver WRM King lives? If I can find the nest of the 72 caves and plunder it, I'll definitely make a fortune. Xiaoping's thoughts flashed as he came up with various plans. With the ability of the invisibility pearl, he was even more daring. He wanted to stir up trouble in the Silver WRM King's nest in the Cold Moon Lake. If he was lucky, he would definitely reap great rewards. Right, since it's the nest of the Silver WRM King, then it must be in the area with the densest spiritual energy in the Cold Moon Lake. It must be the best spot. Thinking to there, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He sent out his mental energy and immediately sensed a boundless wave of spirit qi 10 kilometers away. It was like a vortex, incredibly shocking. That was the center of the entire Cold Moon Lake's spiritual energy. Whoosh! Xiaoping sped forward. After an hour, he ignored the surrounding water demons and swam for more than 10 miles, finally reaching the deepest part of the Cold Moon Lake. This is the nest of the Silver WRM King? It's magnificent. Xiaoping looked into the distance and felt very shocked. There were actually huge palaces built under the water. It was just like the capital of ancient Earth. There were buildings one after another. And the surrounding walls were over 100 meters tall. They could withstand any enemy's attack. At this moment, the entire underwater city was surrounded by a restrictive array formation. An eggshell-like energy barrier enveloped the entire city, isolating the water from the outside world. And the city walls of the underwater city also had a huge city gate. There were many demon guards nearby. They held spears in their hands and wore armor. They had a murderous aura as they guarded the surroundings vigilantly. Some demons also came in and out of the city. Some were going home, some were doing business, some were visiting friends, and some were traveling. There were many such situations. Such an underwater building was simply a dragon palace. The Silver WRM King definitely lives in this city. There's no doubt about it. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He could feel an extremely strong pressure from the city. It was as if a demon king was guarding this place. Any beast that dared to enter would definitely be annihilated. Fortunately, he had a treasure like the invisibility pearl. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to enter. This place was simply a tiger's den. Once he was discovered by these demons, he would be the enemy of everyone. Let's go in. Chapter 521. This is the Silver WRM King's city? It's magnificent indeed. Xiaoping snuck into the underwater city and immediately discovered that the water flow had vanished. It had been isolated by the restrictive array formations. It was no different from an ordinary human city. There were also stone buildings in the surroundings. They were beautifully decorated, simple, and majestic. There was an endless stream of horses and carriages. It was bustling and bustling, just like the capital of a country. However, what made him feel awkward was that all the living beings here were demons. There were snake demons, fish demons, tiger demons, wolf demons, and so on. There were all sorts of strange races. It seemed that not only snake demons had appeared in the city, but there were also demons of other races. Let's go to the Silver WRM King's palace. Xiaoping had no interest in continuing his adventure in the city. He only wanted to find the silver WRM King's treasury and sweep it clean to make a fortune. He casually walked around the place and found out a lot of information. One of them was regarding the specific location of the silver WRM King's palace. It was at the end of the city. There was the most luxurious palace there and there were guards guarding it. Unauthorized people weren't allowed to come within 5 kilometers. As the location of the silver WRM King's palace wasn't a secret, he easily found it. Swoosh. After running for more than an hour, Xiaoping finally arrived at the silver WRM King's palace. The security is very tight. Xiaoping looked around. About 10 li away from the silver WRM King's palace, many snake demon guards immediately appeared. They were standing guard every few steps with solemn expressions on their faces. Even the slightest disturbance would be detected by them. From time to time, Grandmaster Realm demons would appear in this place and scan the surroundings with their psyche powers. Even if someone wanted to sneak in, they wouldn't be able to hide from the psyche power detection of the Grandmaster Realm demons. Unfortunately, Xiaoping's invisibility pearl had all sorts of strange abilities. It could completely conceal his figure. No matter how vigilant these Grandmaster Realm demons were, they couldn't detect him at all. Swoosh. Xiaoping easily snuck into the silver WRM King's palace. There were also huge buildings in the palace. There was a meeting hall, a training ground, a garden or herb garden, etc. Oh, this is the scent of the water moon grass. Very soon Xiaoping's nose twitched slightly. He activated the 10,000-mile tracking art. There were all kinds of scents in the air, and among them was the scent of the water moon grass. It drifted over from afar and was extremely strong. I knew it. The silver WRM King's palace must have a large amount of water moon grass. Xiaoping became spirited. One had to know that the place with the most water moon grass in the entire Cold Moon Lake wasn't that corner at the bottom of the lake, but the silver WRM King's palace. This was because the Cold Moon Pool, which spanned thousands of miles, was under the jurisdiction of the silver WRM King. The water moon grass that grew in this deep pool naturally belonged to the silver WRM King. Many demons would also pluck the water moon grass and send it to the palace as a tribute to the silver WRM King. After running for an hour, Xiaoping passed through one palace after another and dodged countless snake demon guards. He finally arrived at the palace with the densest water moon grass aura. The plaque above the palace had 3 ancient words written on it: Hidden Treasure Vault. This was the language of the demon race. Xiaoping didn't understand it, but he had a communicator on him so he could scan and translate it at any time. It's indeed this place. Xiaoping was immediately overjoyed, but he quickly calmed down. This was because the door to the treasure vault was tightly shut. There were a total of 8 Grandmaster demons and more than 100 Martial Master demons guarding it. If he dared to barge in, he would probably be beaten to a pulp by these demons immediately. Wait. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a cold glint. He knew that there was no way to enter the treasure vault now. After all, even with the invisibility bead on him, opening the door to the treasure vault would cause a commotion. If he wanted to barge in silently, he had to wait. This was because the door to the treasure vault wouldn't always be closed. If there were treasures sent into the treasure vault, the guards would definitely open the door. This wait lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Fortunately, Xiaoping had stored a lot of food in his interspatial ring. It was enough for him to eat for a year, so he didn't need to search for food elsewhere. Furthermore, he took advantage of this time to meditate and cultivate. He absorbed Heaven Earth Yuan Qi refined energy stones, and consolidated his martial cultivation. Open the door to the treasure vault and deliver the water moon grass. At this moment, a group of snake demon guards immediately came from afar. They were carrying boxes of black boxes filled with water moon grass, and the surroundings were filled with rich water-type Yuan Qi. And there were 7 or 8 such boxes. Oh, there are actually 8 boxes of water moon grass. It seems that this year's harvest is not bad. A Grandmaster demon raised his eyebrows. As the water moon grass was a rare herb, it was extremely harsh on the environment it grew in. Even though it grew very fast, there were not many of them. Usually only 3 or 4 boxes were produced in a year. Now that so many had appeared all at once, it was already a great harvest. Of course this year's weather is not bad. Furthermore, the crackdown on the abominable human thieves is quite effective. We have also preserved a lot of water moon grass. A snake demon commander laughed heartily. He was in a good mood. But speaking up to this point, he seemed to recall something. He gritted his teeth and said, But something big happened recently. More than a dozen demon soldiers were instantly destroyed. They didn't even have the chance to call for help. In the end, some water moon grass by the lake was stolen. Without a doubt, it must be those humans who did it. They haven't given up. He gritted his teeth. There's no need to worry about that. As long as that human dares to come again, we will dare to destroy him. We have already set up an inescapable net in the surroundings, just waiting for him to fall for it. If he doesn't come, then so be it. Once he does, it will be his death. The Grandmaster Demon sneered, his killing intent surging. Xiaoping, who was standing at the side, was speechless. An inescapable net? Why couldn't he tell? He was standing beside these demons now, but they had not discovered anything. If these demons knew that there was a human standing beside them, and that he was the culprit behind the destruction of a group of snake demon guards, they would definitely have a heart attack from fright. With my lord's help, that human will naturally be captured. The snake demon commander sucked up to him. The Grandmaster Demon said indifferently, but you don't have to worry about this matter. It's a great merit that you were able to send so many water moon grass over. If the king knows about this, he will definitely be pleased and reward you handsomely. Thank you for your kind words, my lord. The snake demon commander chuckled. The Grandmaster Demon waved his hand. Open the treasury and send these water moon grass in. Yes, my lord. More than a dozen snake demons stood up with solemn expressions. They took out keys from their bodies and immediately opened the treasury door. Then they carried the boxes of water moon grass in. A good opportunity. Chapter 522. Dong. After sending all the water moon grass in, the door of the treasury immediately closed. A group of snake demon guards quickly left, but no one knew that Xiaoping had secretly entered this place. These snake demon guards were still foolishly standing guard outside, not knowing that an extremely greedy, despicable and shameless thief had already snuck into the treasury. I'm rich this time. After entering this treasury, Xiaoping's eyes suddenly lit up. He found that this treasury was huge, with many huge rooms, and each room contained countless treasures. First was the water moon grass. There were 40 to 50 boxes in this place. If they were auctioned in the outside world, it would definitely cause an uproar. This was a priceless elixir. With so many water moon grass, he didn't have to worry about cultivation. Take them all. Xiaoping's hands and feet were very dexterous, moving quickly. Anyway, there were no demon guards monitoring. He moved the boxes of water moon grass into his interspatial ring. In just a few minutes, the entire room of water moon grass was swept clean by him. I wonder what other treasures there are in the other rooms. After collecting all the water moon grass, Xiaoping also came to the second room. As soon as he entered this room, he immediately felt the rich heaven and earth yuan qi, almost condensing into a substance. Demon nucleus. Xiaoping immediately recognized the contents of this room. These rooms were filled with demon nuclei. The demon nuclei were piled up in this room like a small mountain. Even if he couldn't refine so many demon nuclei, he could still sell them. After all, humans and demons also had transactions, and demons also hoped to obtain a lot of demon nuclei. Humans could use demon nuclei to buy various kinds of elixirs and rare minerals. It could be said that the value of such demon nuclei was no less than any energy stone. As expected of the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasure, there are too many valuable things. Xiaoping was very emotional, and without hesitation he also collected all the demon nuclei in this room and put them into his interspatial ring. He also continued to move forward, the third room, the fourth room, and at the same time he found many elixirs and precious minerals, each of which was very valuable. If taken out, it would be enough to make countless warriors jealous. Rich, really rich. Xiaoping clenched his fists. However, this was to be expected. The Silver WRM King was one of the 72 demon monarchs, and he ruled over a region of water that spanned thousands of miles. There were countless treasures and spirit herbs in this place. Even if the Silver WRM King spent an astronomical amount of resources for his own cultivation, even if he only left some behind, it would still be enough to make an ordinary cultivator extremely rich. Not to mention anything else, just the treasures that Xiaoping had just discovered were worth at least 500 billion federal coins. Xiaoping could not imagine that the wind-chasing bandits and lawless gang, the two major underworld organizations, had been in the West Wilderness for more than 10 years. They had been living frugally, but the treasures they had left behind were only worth 180 billion. But now, just the Silver WRM King's treasury alone was worth 500 billion federal coins. 500 billion federal coins, what kind of concept was that? Even an expert at the peak of the Grand Master realm would not be able to accumulate so much wealth if he did not eat or drink for more than 100 years without any fortuitous encounters. This was an astronomical figure. If this amount was used to place a bounty on a person's head, apart from the king, everyone else would die without a doubt. With this amount of money, one could buy more powerful equipment and more precious cultivation resources. One could completely dominate the entire human world and eat as much as they wanted. Any shop would treat you as a distinguished guest, and you could enter and exit any VIP channel at will. There were all kinds of privileges and you could borrow money from the bank at will. This was the terrifying power of wealth to a certain extent. Although some people said that money was not omnipotent, sometimes money could solve most problems. Mine, all of it is mine. Xiaoping felt that his blood was boiling. This was more than a windfall. It was like a pie falling from the sky. It was like a poor man suddenly getting the inheritance of the world's richest man. It was simply heaven-defying. There were not many such good things in the world. Even if he won the lottery of 5 million, it would take him 273 years to get the money if he won once a day. Whoosh, whoosh. Xiaoping moved extremely quickly and moved all these treasures into the space ring. But after moving a small part, he found that the 2,000 cubic meters of space in the ring was full. Even if he wanted to stuff it in, it was impossible. Thinking of this, Xiaoping made a prompt decision. System, spend 5 million hatred points to expand by 5,000 cubic meters. He now had a total of 20 million hatred points on him. Spending 5 million hatred points was nothing at all. As long as he could move all the treasures here, everything was worth it. This was an investment. Yes, host. The system said. With a rumble, the space inside the space ring immediately expanded, its volume expanded by 2 or 3 times, and the space inside became a lot wider. Even if all the treasures here were moved into the space ring, there would be no problem at all. Half an hour later, all the treasures here were moved in. The entire treasure vault was empty, not even a hair was left. It was cleaner than the face, like a locust passing through. And the space ring was also filled with all kinds of treasures. There seems to be a secret treasure vault here? After cleaning up the treasures in the surrounding rooms, Xiaoping carefully observed the surroundings and soon found that there was a secret room in the deepest part. The door of this room was tightly closed and it seemed to be different from the other rooms. He immediately knew that the treasures in this room were definitely extraordinary. Otherwise, there would never be a door installed in the treasure vault and it was heavily guarded. It could even be said that the treasures contained in this room were probably many times more valuable than the treasures he had just obtained. This was the true secret treasure of the Silver Flood Dragon King. Just as Xiaoping wanted to approach and observe the door of the secret treasure vault to see if it could be opened, suddenly the secret treasure vault seemed to sense something, and a mysterious energy swept over. Boom! Immediately the entire treasure vault was shaking, and at the same time, a buzzing alarm was triggered. It was earth-shattering and spread to a radius of 10 kilometers, and anyone could hear it. Chapter 523. What's going on? Is the treasure vault's alarm ringing? One of the snake demon guards standing guard outside the treasure vault was shocked. It had not heard such an alarm for many years, so it was a little dumbfounded when it heard it. After all, the Silver WRM King's reputation was right there. Who would dare to steal from the treasure vault? Impossible. Could it be an illusion? That's right, who would dare to steal from the treasure vault? They must be tired of living. Moreover, we are all on strict guard. Not even a fly can fly in. Who can enter the treasure vault? I guess the treasure vault's alarm system is broken. After all, it has not been used for many years and has not been repaired. Many of the snake demons were very casual and did not look nervous at all. They thought that the alarm was probably a false alarm and that it was impossible for anyone to enter the treasure vault to steal. Cut the crap. Go in and take a look. A Grandmaster demon gave the order in a deep voice. Yes, Lord. Immediately, a few snake demons went forward and opened the treasure vault's door. A group of snake demon guards entered in a line. Their expressions were originally very relaxed, but after entering the treasure vault and seeing the scene before them, all of them were dumbfounded. Holy shit, what's going on? A snake demon was dumbfounded. Could not believe what it saw. It was supposed to be a dazzling array of treasures that piled up the treasure vault. But now it had become clean and slippery. Not a single hair was left. It was so clean that the floor was slippery, and one could even see their own reflection on it. It's been stolen. All the treasures have been stolen. Not a single hair is left. A snake demon screamed. It was scared half to death. Its face had turned green, and its body was trembling like a sieve. It could not imagine how angry the Silver WRM King would be if he knew about this. After all, everyone knew that the Silver WRM King was a greedy person. It was famous for its greed. If it knew that all the treasures in its treasure vault had been stolen by an unknown thief, it would probably go crazy. Impossible. How did he steal it? We were clearly on high alert, and not even a fly entered the treasury. How did that little thief do it? A snake demon couldn't believe it. There were a few Grandmaster monsters and a bunch of Martial Master monsters on their side. Every one of them was observant and alert. Unless a king arrived, no one could escape their eyes. But now, someone had actually done such a thing, silently passing through their line of defense, easily entering the treasury and stealing all the treasures here. This kind of behavior was too exaggerated. Yeah, that's impossible. The other snake demon also shouted, "You have to know that there are countless treasures here, enough to fill several large rooms. They weigh more than 10 tons and are huge in size. Who could have stolen all these treasures so quickly? Even if he managed to steal all these treasures, what method did that thief use to move them?" It pointed out many doubtful points. That's right. It's impossible to move so many treasures without making any noise. Almost emptied out the entire treasury, but not a single sound was made. Most importantly, there's only one entrance to the entire treasury. If he wants to leave, he has to pass through the place we're guarding. The problem is, we didn't notice any movement. It's too strange. One by one, the snake demons shouted. Their faces all revealed expressions as if they had seen a ghost. Even if they racked their brains, they couldn't think of any way to do such a thing. Just moving more than 10 tons of treasures away was already a fantasy. Furthermore, it was done silently, under the eyes of a group of Grandmaster monsters. Shut up. A Grandmaster-level demon shouted, "Immediately check if anything has been lost in the secret treasure vault. If everything in the secret treasury is lost, we won't be able to keep our heads." It roared furiously, and there was even a hint of panic in its voice. What? Hearing this, the group of snake demons were scared half to death. Their faces turned pale, and they instantly entered the depths of the treasury. But when they reached the place, they all heaved a sigh of relief because the restrictive array of the secret treasury was not destroyed. In other words, the detestable thief did not enter the secret treasury. Things could still be salvaged. That's great. The secret treasury was not damaged at all. A monster heaved a sigh of relief. The Grandmaster monster clenched his fists. It's probably because the thief doesn't know how powerful the secret treasury is. His Majesty has set up a mysterious restrictive array around it. Any enemy that approaches will immediately sound the alarm. That's why the entire treasury was shaken. Based on some clues, he deduced a lot of information. However, the other monsters' expressions were unable to relax. Because if the thief did not alarm the secret treasury, didn't that mean that even if the thief moved all the treasures in the treasury, they wouldn't be able to discover anything? They shuddered at the mere thought of it. This matter is too important. It can't be concealed at all. A Grandmaster monster immediately said, "We have to inform His Majesty immediately and let him handle it." Right. Many monsters nodded. The treasures in the entire treasury had been moved away without a sound. Even the secret treasury was almost destroyed. This matter was too serious. They could only inform the Silver WRM King. Issue an order at the same time. The Grandmaster monster hurriedly said, "Seal the entire city immediately. Stop any monsters from entering or leaving. That thief stole so many treasures. He definitely won't leave our Silver WRM city so quickly. Don't think that you can leave Silver WRM city easily after stealing the treasures. Even if he has taken our things, he will have to spit them out. No matter who he is, he must die if he dares to behave atrociously in our Silver WRM city." He clenched his fists tightly and emitted a murderous aura. "Yes, Lord." Hearing the order, the group of snake demons moved quickly. Some went to inform the Silver WRM King. Some left to inform the army to seal the entire city and capture any suspicious characters. There were also some who stayed at the scene to see if there were any clues left. This is like poking a hornet's nest. Xia Ping, who used the invisible pearl to conceal himself, rubbed his chin. Originally, he wanted to leave Silver WRM city silently. But now it seemed impossible. Even the Silver WRM King would be alarmed by this matter. Thinking of this, he immediately left the treasury to prevent himself from being locked inside. Once the Silver WRM King came, He wasn't sure if the Silver WRM King would be able to discover the existence of the invisible pearl. I'll enter the spatial ring first. This way, even the Silver WRM King won't be able to discover my whereabouts. After exiting the treasury, Xiaoping decided to enter the spatial ring. Once he entered the spatial ring, even a king wouldn't be able to detect his aura. Boom. Chapter 524. Rumble. In the sky there was a flood dragon. Its body was 300 to 400 meters long, and its entire body was covered in silver scales. It looked as if it was made of mercury. Even a nuclear bomb would not be able to cause any damage to its body. It had a pair of incomparably sharp claws that could cut through almost everything in the world. When it opened its mouth, it could spit out dragon breath. Its power was not inferior to any energy cannon, and it could instantly tear a small mountain to pieces. The moment it flew over, it coiled around the dark clouds and lightning. The air trembled and the entire ground trembled. Some of the gravel was even crushed into powder. It was as if a god had descended. The group of demons on the ground were all trembling. They were so scared that they prostrated on the ground, not daring to look at it directly. It was the ruler of the thousands of miles of Cold Moon Lake, one of the 72 demon kings, the Silver Flood Dragon King. Rumble. In an instant, it descended on the ground and transformed into a human. There was a horn on its head, and it looked like an ordinary middle-aged man. It was wearing a dragon robe. It walked with majestic steps and a dignified look in its eyes. It came to the side of the many demon guards. What is going on? The Silver Flood Dragon King suppressed the anger in its heart and stared at the demons. You said that my treasure vault was robbed and all the treasures inside were stolen. Is this true? Yes, it's true. Everything we said is true. The group of demons was terrified and nodded repeatedly. Bastard. The Silver Flood Dragon King roared, you useless good-for-nothings. I asked you to guard the treasure vault, not to neglect your duties. There are so many guards here but none of them noticed anything. What do I need trash like you for? It was extremely angry. Anyone would be furious if their home was robbed. Moreover, the Silver Flood Dragon King was famous for valuing money as much as his life. It was said that he had a trace of the true dragon's bloodline and inherited the greedy nature of the dragon race. Great King, spare us, spare us. The group of demons knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. The Silver Flood Dragon King waved his hand and walked in with large strides. His face instantly turned green, and the corner of his mouth twitched non-stop. Fuck, there wasn't even a strand of hair left in the treasury. It was so clean that it was even cleaner than a cleaning company. It was so angry that its lungs were about to explode. It flew into a rage. Lock down the entire city. Immediately lock down the entire city. Send out 1,000,000 soldiers to capture that despicable little thief. We can't let him escape. This king doesn't care where he escapes to, doesn't care what abilities he has, and doesn't care what background he has. As long as I catch him, I will immediately tear him to pieces. To dare steal this king's treasure, he must be tired of living. The roar of the Silver WRM King could be heard from tens of kilometers away. Even the ground was shaken to the point where cracks appeared, extending for several kilometers. Since when had the Silver WRM King's lair become so tattered that a little thief had actually swaggered in and even stolen all of its treasures, claiming them as his own? If they didn't capture that damned thief and tear him to pieces, the Silver WRM King would probably become the laughingstock of the 72 demon monarchs if word of this got out. Yes. The group of demons nodded. They were also shocked. They didn't know how many years it had been, but they had never seen the Silver WRM King so angry. This kind of rage would shake the waters within thousands of kilometers. Amazing. Xiaoping, who was hiding in the depths of the spatial ring, also felt the abyss-like aura from the Silver WRM King. This Silver WRM King was probably a famous demon monarch even among the 72 demon monarchs. Its strength was unfathomable. If he had continued to stay where he was, even with the invisibility pearl, he might have been discovered by the Silver WRM King. By then he would be in big trouble. So. Hearing this order, the entire Silver WRM city was shaken. Countless demon soldiers were mobilized and they locked down the entire city, surrounding it so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. There were even squads of soldiers going from house to house in the city to search for the thief. They were determined to catch the thief and recover all the stolen property. The entire city was filled with a tense, steely, and murderous atmosphere. Armored demon soldiers wielding spears often appeared on the streets. They stared fiercely at the passers-by, as though they were trying to find some clues to capture the thief. What's going on? Why is the Silver WRM King locking down the entire city in rage? Don't you know? The Silver WRM King's palace was robbed. It said that the entire treasury was emptied by the thief, leaving nothing behind. As a result, the Silver WRM King was infuriated and locked down the entire city to capture the thief. It can't be. Which thief is so daring? Is he tired of living? He even dares to send his underlings into the Silver WRM King's palace. Is there anything that the thief doesn't dare to do? In short, the Silver WRM King has issued a wanted order. As long as anyone can capture the thief who stole the treasures from the palace or provide some effective clues, they will be rewarded handsomely. There's actually such a good thing. If I can capture that thief, I'll be rich. Right now, all the demons in the city are in a frenzy. All of them are howling, wanting to capture the thief and claim the reward. With this reward, I won't have to worry about my life for the next 10 years. In the city, countless demons were discussing this matter on the streets and alleyways. Because this matter was too huge. For the past thousands of years, nothing major had happened in Silver WRM City. After all, with the Silver WRM King's reputation, who would dare to act rashly? Once a demon king was enraged, corpses would float for thousands of miles. As long as one was sane, no one would dare to cause trouble in Silver WRM City. But now, someone had come and even stolen all the treasures of the Silver WRM King. This was no different from plucking a dragon's whiskers. Some of the demons didn't even dare to imagine what would happen if the thief were to be captured by the Silver WRM King. Perhaps even death would be an extravagant hope. This is going to be troublesome. Xia Ping hid in his interspatial ring and rubbed his chin. He saw that the entire city had been locked down. It was so tight that not even a drop of water could leak through. No one could pass through the city gates. Demon soldiers and demon generals appeared one after another. This was a battle strength that could destroy a country. Any human would probably tremble in fear upon seeing this. As long as the gates were not opened, no demons would be able to leave. If anyone dared to force their way in, they would immediately incur the wrath of the Silver WRM King. Of course, if Xia Ping continued to hide in this place for a few more months, the entire Silver WRM city wouldn't be able to last that long. After all, it was a trading city with many businesses. If it was sealed up for a few months, it would collapse first. It wouldn't be able to last for too long. However, Xia Ping still wanted to participate in the Tournament of Geniuses. He didn't want to stay here any longer. Time was very precious to him. He shouldn't waste it. Chapter 525. Dong. At that moment, in the main hall of the Silver WRM King's palace, a piece of white paper was pinned to a plaque. It had appeared silently. Very soon, the surrounding demon guards discovered this anomaly. All of them were shocked and they quickly informed the other demon commanders, including the Silver WRM King. Instantly, all the commanders and guards in the palace, including the Silver WRM King, arrived. What's written on it? The Silver WRM King's expression was grim as he stared at the piece of white paper. There was a bunch of words written on it, but he had no idea what was written on it because it wasn't demon language. The other demons were also dumbfounded. They exchanged glances. All of them were illiterate. Your Majesty, this is human language. A demon that was proficient in human language stood out and said, "It's written on it. I heard that the WRM King is wealthy and has a mountain of treasures that are priceless. I yearn for it. Tonight at midnight I will come to collect it on the moon. Please forgive me, Your Majesty." Bullshit. A coarse demon shouted. You're so genteel. What the hell are you talking about? The other demons were puzzled as well. They couldn't understand it at all. To put it simply, that human thief heard that Your Majesty is wealthy and that every treasure is priceless. He's a little envious, so he plans to steal it tonight at midnight. The demon explained. Fuck. Upon hearing that, all the demons present were dumbfounded. What kind of thief was this? He wanted to steal it after hearing that Their Majesty was wealthy and had many treasures. What kind of bullshit reason was that? Although it was easy to be robbed because one was wealthy, they couldn't steal from Their Majesty. Did he have a death wish to steal the treasures of one of the 72 demon monarchs? Bastard. Upon hearing that, the Silver WRM King's nose was crooked from anger. Smoke was coming out of his head. With a bang, he slammed his palm on the ground, immediately creating a huge crater. Kacha. Kacha. The ground cracked. The shockwave even sent the surrounding demons flying, causing them to cough up blood on the spot. There was no need to mention how angry he was now. This dog's head human was too insolent. He actually wanted to steal from the treasury after hearing that the Silver WRM King was wealthy. What did he take the Silver WRM King for? Is it a human ATM? Moreover, it didn't require a password. If anyone wanted to get rich, they could come to the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasury to steal things. If this matter was spread out, the Silver Flood Dragon City might become a sightseeing place for human thieves. Even the thieves of the demon clan would come because of its fame. At that time, even the toilet paper in the Silver WRM King's palace might be stolen. Asking it to forgive him? Forgive my ass. Who would forgive a thief after most of their treasures were stolen? It was already benevolent of it to not dismember the damn thief into 8 pieces or dismember his body. Too arrogant. A Grandmaster demon cursed, which thief isn't secretive, afraid of being discovered by others? But this human is different. He's afraid that others won't discover him. When did thieves become so arrogant? They actually began to steal things in broad daylight. Is that bastard human looking down on us monsters? Does he think that we are stupid and rich? It was also incomparably angry, thinking that it was being looked down upon by humans. He is indeed arrogant. There is no evil in his eyes. Another Grandmaster demon bared his teeth. That human even told us the time and location, saying that he will come to steal at midnight tonight. If he isn't arrogant, who is arrogant? He simply doesn't put us monsters in his eyes. He thinks that our Silver Flood Dragon City is his backyard, where he can come and go as he pleases. Many monsters were in an uproar and were filled with anger. They had never seen such an arrogant thief in their lives. Not only did he come to steal things, he even told them the time and location. It was obvious that he was going to steal things tonight. If their things were still stolen by that human, the entire Silver Flood Dragon City would become the laughingstock of the demon clan. Moreover, it would be the kind of infamy that would last for 10,000 years. When did this white paper appear? Why was it pinned on the palace's signboard by that human? Did you guards grow up eating shit? Why didn't any of you discover such a big human? A Grandmaster demon roared, feeling very dissatisfied. He felt that such a ridiculous thing shouldn't have happened. Such a big human pinned the white paper on the signboard. Those demon guards should have discovered it. Lord Commander, this white paper appeared without a sound. That's right. Even if we wanted to investigate, there's nothing we can do. That human didn't even leave a trace of his scent. That bastard is extremely cunning. He simply appears and disappears unpredictably. The group of demon guards felt that they were innocent. The human was a godly thief who silently stole more than half of the king's treasury. They were just third-rate characters. How could they possibly catch that human? The other demons also felt that it was understandable. Previously, when the treasury disappeared, those demon guards also didn't know what happened. If it wasn't for the alarm, they probably wouldn't even know that the items in the treasury had disappeared. One could imagine that the human really treated the palace as a sieve. He could come and go as he pleases. Yet, no demon could discover the human's whereabouts. If it wasn't for the white paper, they wouldn't even know that the thief was a human. Thinking of this, they felt even more aggrieved. Sophistry. All of this is sophistry. The Grandmaster demon scolded, "All of you have failed in your duties. All of you will be isolated and investigated. You will be demoted by 3 ranks. You must atone for your crimes." It gave a series of punishments. Yes, Lord Commander. The group of demons didn't dare to refute. They were already lucky to survive such a major mistake. Demoting by 3 ranks was already a reward. If that human wants to steal, let him come. The Silver WRM King roared. It clenched its fists and was enraged to the extreme. Isn't he arrogant? Doesn't he have no demons in his eyes? He even revealed the time and location. Is he trying to steal my treasures? Immediately inform the 3 armies. Send a large number of troops over and seal off the entire palace. Even a fly that flies in will be held accountable. All of them will be executed. This king wants to see how that damned human can enter my palace and steal this king's treasures in broad daylight. It was infuriated. It swore to capture that damned human. Yes, your majesty. The group of demons bowed their heads and accepted the order. One by one, the orders were sent out from the palace. Immediately, more than half of the demon soldiers were mobilized. They surrounded the entire palace. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. There were even demon soldiers in every corner. There were no blind spots. It could be said that no matter where that damned human thief appeared from, they would immediately discover him. Very soon it was midnight. At this moment, the entire palace, hundreds of Grandmaster demons, hundreds of thousands of demon soldiers, and the Silver WRM King were waiting in the palace. They were ready for battle and filled with murderous intent. Chapter 526. Midnight. Many demons were waiting in the palace. Their nerves were tense, and they would immediately take action at the slightest sign of trouble. They were afraid that they would miss any movement and allow the human thief to sneak in. In the end, all of them widened their eyes. Their eyes were bloodshot and some even became cross-eyed. They were extremely exhausted. But when it was midnight, the human thief who had left the message still did not appear. There was no movement in the entire palace. It was silent as if nothing had happened. An hour passed. 2 hours. 3 hours. Finally, some demons could not take it anymore. What's going on? Why isn't the human thief here yet? Did he get the time wrong? Wrong my ass. I read the note dozens of times just now. There's no mistake. It's midnight tonight. But why isn't the human here yet? There's no movement at all. It's so boring. A few flies flew over just now and we ate them all. Without a doubt, the human must be afraid. Knowing that our army is here, he must be scared shitless. He wouldn't dare to appear. He's not an idiot. It can't be. He clearly sent out a letter of challenge and said that he would come to steal. He's so arrogant as if he's the heavens. Now that he sees that we have the numbers, he doesn't dare to come? He's so cowardly, yet he dares to be a thief. Humans are all cowardly bandits. Every single one of them is incompetent. How can they be as brave and good at fighting as us demons? Once we set up our formation, he'll be scared shitless. Many demons sneered. They all thought that the human was just saying it. Seeing their formation, he had long been scared shitless. Some of the demons heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the human thief did not come. Otherwise, if their treasures were stolen in front of everyone, they would be embarrassed. It was a slap to the Silver WRM King's face. Cowardly human. That's all you can do. The Silver WRM King sneered and clenched his fists. A Grandmaster demon immediately went forward to flatter. That's to be expected. With our king guarding here, no matter how gutsy that human is, he wouldn't dare to come and court death. It's a pity that the human is too cowardly. We lost the chance to capture him. Its flattery made the Silver WRM King feel very comfortable. Report. All of a sudden, a small demon rushed in from outside, sweating profusely. What? Suddenly, all the monsters in the palace tensed up. Could it be that something big had really happened? Speak, what happened? The Silver WRM King stared at the little Yao. The other demons widened their eyes, looking like they wanted to devour someone. They were filled with killing intent. Xiao Yao was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He almost collapsed to the ground, but he suppressed the fear in his heart and said, "Just now at the city gate, we also found a slip of paper, so we came to report it." City gate? Many of the demons were shocked. They suddenly came to their senses as though they had recalled something. All of their expressions turned ugly. Note? What is written on it? The Silver WRM King immediately asked. The little demon shivered and said, "It says, 'Thank you, Silver Flood Dragon King, for your gift. The mountains will not change and the rivers will flow forever. We will meet again if fate allows it.'" What? Hearing those words, all the monsters were shocked. Doesn't this mean that the human thief has taken this opportunity to leave the Silver Dragon City and run away? We've been tricked. We've been tricked. One of the Grandmaster-level demons shouted. That shameless human thief didn't actually want to steal the king's treasure. He wanted to make use of this incident to mobilize the king and the army, gathering most of them in the palace. This way there will be fewer guards at the city gate. By then, that shameless human thief will naturally take this opportunity to escape and leave Silver WRM City. We've been tricked. The Silver WRM King was so angry that his face turned pale. He immediately understood what had happened. The so-called theft at midnight was just a ruse, a provocation. That shameless human provoked the Silver WRM King on purpose, making them think that the human thief would definitely come to the palace to steal. Thus, they sent the army to guard the palace. Little did they know that it was a ploy to lure the tiger away from the mountain. They didn't realize that all of them had been tricked. Shameless. Shameless human. How could he do such a thing? He's not trustworthy. He said that he was here to steal, but now he's going back on his words. He's good at pulling up his pants and leaving. Despicable to the extreme. Humans are all shameless, despicable, and lowly. Their words can't even be trusted. They're worse than farts. Rather than trusting a human's words, you might as well trust a pile of shit. We're stupid too. We actually waited here for 3 hours like idiots. Come to think of it, how could a small human dare to do such a thing? He's too shameless. The other demons' faces turned green. They also understood that they were fooled by the human. On the surface they were here to steal, but in fact they wanted to escape. Yet they didn't realize it and let the human thief escape. Despicable human, I won't forgive him. The silver WRM king was furious. Its face turned red and its body trembled. It was actually fooled by a human and waited in the palace for 3 hours for nothing. One must know that even its lover wouldn't make it wait for such a long time. Yet this human thief did it, causing it to suffer such humiliation. If it didn't kill that human, its prestige as a king would be completely destroyed. He definitely can't escape far. Chase after him. Immediately chase after him and kill that human thief. We definitely can't let him escape. The silver WRM king's anger reached its peak. It roared, causing the void to tremble. It was as though the entire palace was splitting apart. The entire silver WRM city was shaking. Countless demons could hear the silver WRM king's roar. Some of the demons could feel the silver WRM king's rage. They remembered that it was hundreds of years ago. Back then, the silver WRM king wanted to massacre a demon kingdom to kill a traitor. At that time, tens of millions of demons died. Corpses were everywhere. So. Demons flew out of the palace in a frenzy. Huge dark clouds covered the sky. Together with the silver WRM king, it was like an army of 1,000,000 had left the country. They charged towards silver WRM city. Bang! The gates of silver WRM city were opened. The demon soldiers moved out. All of them were wearing armor and wielding spears. They were filled with killing intent. In an orderly formation, they rushed out of silver WRM city. At this moment, the entire Cold Moon Lake was shaking. Countless demons living under the water were shivering. They thought that a war was about to break out. All of them hid and revealed looks of terror. Chapter 527. Cold Moon Lake, thousands of miles of water. At this moment, under the command of the silver WRM king, the entire area was filled with a large number of demons. They frantically searched in all directions, searching every corner along the way. They would not let go of any clues, just like hunting dogs. It could be said that all the demons around the Cold Moon Lake were mobilized with the goal of finding that human thief and killing that human who dared to challenge the dignity of the Demon King. However, after searching for an entire night, nothing was found. Countless demons hung their heads dejectedly. They had no idea where that damn human was hiding. Suddenly, a Grandmaster-level demon shouted, "We've been tricked. Great King, we've been tricked again." What? Tricked again? Many of the demons' faces turned green. They were allergic to this term as it had become a taboo. It was as if they were slapped in the face every time they heard it. How did we get tricked again? A demon asked, puzzled. The silver WRM king clenched his fist and looked over. Previously, the Silver Dragon City's gate was tightly shut and the entire city's restrictive formation was activated. If someone were to leave, it would be impossible for him to leave without alerting anyone. It's also impossible for him to leave without a sound. The Grandmaster-level demon clenched his teeth and said, "The reason why that human left the note at the city gate was to deceive us. He wanted us to think that he had left Silver WRM City long ago. In fact, that human never left. He was still hiding in a corner of Silver WRM City. But now that we've been infuriated, we didn't even think before rushing out and opening the city gate. In the end, that shameless human took the opportunity to leave secretly. If we didn't act rashly and didn't open the city gate, he wouldn't have been able to leave Silver WRM City even if he had wings. He would still be trapped in the city like a turtle in a jar." He carefully analyzed the ins and outs of the matter. What the fuck? When the demons heard this, the remaining half of their faces turned green. They understood that they had been fooled by that shameless human all along. Every step was within his meticulous planning. If they didn't act rashly and mobilize the army to open the city gate, that human thief would definitely not have had the chance to leave. The problem was, how could they not be impulsive? First of all, when they saw the provocative note, it blatantly stated that they were coming to the palace to steal something. It was obvious that there were no demons in their eyes. This made these demons extremely angry. Following that, they were left alone in the palace by that shameless human. For 3 hours, not even a shadow of him was seen. Every demon's lungs were about to explode from anger. They were impatient and wanted nothing more than to get rid of that human. Now that they heard that the human had escaped, they had been ridiculed 3 times and enraged 3 times. They had long since lost their rationality and didn't have the time to consider whether this was true or not. They only wanted to catch that human thief and not let him escape. However, even this point had been calculated by that human. He had used their anger to create an opportunity to escape. This was simply a meticulous plan. Their faces were slapped so many times that they couldn't feel it anymore. They almost felt pleasure. If you're so smart, why didn't you think of it before? Why did you only think of it now? The Silver WRM King was fuming with rage as he glared at his subordinate. Just now, it was this guy who said that the human thief had escaped. That was why it had hurriedly led a large army to chase after him, hoping to catch the human thief and tear him into pieces. But now this bastard actually said that it had been tricked again. It had fallen for the traitorous human scheme and was slapped in the face again. How could it accept such a ridiculous thing? Great King, I only know how to speculate after the fact. It's a little difficult for me to think of this in advance. The Grandmaster Demon looked embarrassed. Fuck, what's the use of only knowing how to be wise after the fact? Everything had already happened and that human thief had escaped. What was the use of speculating here? Was it just to figure out how they had been tricked? You didn't think of this? Do you know that it's because of this so-called speculation of yours that our millions of troops have to work so hard and even let that human thief escape? You're fucking telling me that you didn't think of this point clearly? If that's the case, why do I need a think tank like you? All you can do is eat. The Silver WRM King was so angry that he almost died. With a bang, he slapped the Grandmaster Demon and sent it flying. A few of his teeth were knocked out and blood flowed out. He roared, "Take him away. Take this useless person away immediately and lock him in prison for 100 years. No, no, no. Spare me, Great King, spare me." The Grandmaster Demon was so scared that he peed his pants. He wanted to beg for mercy, but the other demons immediately came up and dragged him away. The other demons looked down on this so-called think tank. He was really useless. If they didn't know that he was loyal to the Silver WRM King, they would probably think that he was an accomplice of the human thief and a spy sent by the human. Pass down my order. The Silver WRM King roared. Immediately search the surrounding 10,000 miles. Do not let go of any traces of the human. As long as there are clues, you will be rewarded handsomely. This king doesn't believe that the human is so powerful that he didn't leave any clues behind. As long as we find some clues and know the human's identity, even if he escapes back to the human kingdom, this king will kill him with my own hands. His voice reverberated for 1,000 miles and was transmitted to the ears of every demon in the cold moon lake. It was almost tangible. Demonic chi filled the sky and savage forest trembled. Yes, Great King. Countless demons shouted angrily and flew in all directions. Not only did they search the lake, they even searched savage forest. At this moment, at the bottom of the cold moon lake, huge rocks were piled up together. Among them, there was a unique small stone that was hidden in the sand. It was not eye-catching at all. Even the Demon King couldn't sense that this wasn't a stone but an interspatial ring. At this moment, Xiaoping was hiding in this interspatial ring, avoiding the search of many demons. Because of this, no matter how the monsters searched, they couldn't find his whereabouts. Doing so would only be a futile effort. Haha, that group of demons is so angry. Xiaoping was proud of himself. With just a little trick, he escaped from Silver WRM City. Just as the Grandmaster Demon guessed, this was all a series of schemes. When the demon army left Silver WRM City, he secretly followed them out. Once he was out, he would be like a dragon returning to the sea. There would be no more restraints. Chapter 528. Beep. At this time the system said, "Congratulations to the host for enraging the Monster King. This time, you have gained a total of 15 million hate points." 15 million hate points. Xiaoping touched his chin. In addition to what he had obtained before, he now had a total of 30 million hate points. Such a large number was really amazing. As expected of the Monster King, the amount of hate points obtained was simply unimaginable. If the Silver Jiao King knew his true identity, it was estimated that the hate points would increase even more. However, if his true identity was exposed, it would cause big trouble. After all, the anger of a Monster King was not something he could bear now. It's a pity that the secret treasure house has a restrictive formation. Otherwise, if I return now, I will definitely make a lot of money. Xia Ping was a little regretful, thinking of the secret treasure house he had encountered before. However, the restrictive formation of the secret treasure house was extremely tyrannical. It was estimated that even if a grandmaster came, he would not be able to crack it in a short time. Moreover, this restrictive formation also had an alarm function. If the Silver Jiao King returned in time, then he would really be like a turtle in a jar. Even he could not use the trick just now to escape from the Silver Jiao city. Although he liked to get treasures, he did not want to risk his life. Anyway, there were many treasures in this world. When he was stronger, it would not be too late to get them. There was no need to hit a stone with an egg now. However, I still have a big gift for these monsters. I hope they can catch the real murderer, so that I can divert the trouble. Xia Ping touched his chin with a treacherous expression. At this time, in the palace of the Silver Jiao city, the Silver Jiao King sat on the throne with a face full of anger. The rest of the monsters stood below, all of them bowing their heads, not daring to say anything for fear of being angry. The entire palace was filled with a depressing atmosphere, extremely tense. Report. Suddenly, a monster soldier rushed in from outside and shouted, "Your Majesty, we found some clues in a corner of the palace garden and are now here to report." What? Many demons were stirred as they stared at the demon soldier. Speak. The Silver Jiao King shouted. The demon soldier hurriedly said, "We just searched the entire palace and found a token left behind by that human thief in a corner of the palace garden." It immediately took out a black token from its body. On it was written the word Zhou, and beside it was written Bin in smaller words. If Zhou Bin were still alive, he would definitely be extremely shocked, because this was clearly the Zhou family's token on him. This was specially issued by the Zhou family to every direct descendant of the Zhou family. With this token, one could enter and exit the Zhou clan's various forbidden areas. One could even use this token to send out all sorts of distress signals. It could be said to be a very important token of the Zhou clan. After Zhou Bin and the others were killed, these tokens fell into Xia Ping's hands. What is this? The Silver Wrm King frowned. He looked at a white-haired demon beside him. This demon was the intelligence chief beside him. He was in charge of external and internal intelligence. The white-haired demon immediately went forward and took the token. He studied it carefully as all sorts of information flashed through his mind. In just a few seconds he came to a conclusion. "Your Majesty, if I'm not wrong, this is the identity token of a direct descendant of the Zhou clan, a human sovereign family." The white-haired demon said in a deep voice, "And this token belongs to one of their core members, Zhou Bin. It is said that his strength has reached the peak of Grandmaster and is only one step away from advancing to the King realm. His strength is not to be underestimated." Sovereign family, Grandmaster Zhou Bin? These words shocked all the monsters present. They looked at each other and immediately understood each other's thoughts. This human Grandmaster Zhou Bin was definitely the culprit behind the theft of the treasury. That's right, the thief who stole the Majesty's treasure must be this Grandmaster Zhou Bin. A demon immediately jumped out and swore that Zhou Bin was the culprit. That's impossible. Although the token was left in the palace, we can't rule out the possibility of someone framing him. Framing my ass. We know what kind of person Zhou Bin is. He's a Grandmaster. Only a sovereign can kill a Grandmaster. Even if it were a Grandmaster of the same level, it would take at least 5 or 6 of them to kill him. Indeed. It is said that this token is a keepsake of every member of the Zhou family. They are never allowed to leave their side. It is impossible for someone to kill Grandmaster Zhou Bin, take his keepsake and frame him. That's right. That's right. Recently, I haven't heard of any monster king killing a Grandmaster. The result is obvious. This Grandmaster Zhou Bin must have left a clue because he was careless. He probably didn't expect that he would reveal such a big flaw. If he's not a Grandmaster, how could he have the ability to enter our Silver Dragon City without a trace? That's right. As the saying goes, heaven's net grinds slowly but never escapes. The heavens have eyes and allowed this human thief to show his true colors. Many monsters exclaimed. They believed that this human thief must be Grandmaster Zhou Bin because there were no humans in the entire Silver Dragon City. How could it be so coincidental that the token appeared in the palace? Moreover, the culprit was strong enough to do such a thing. What do you think? The Silver Dragon King stared at his confidant, the white-haired monster. The white-haired monster sneered, "Your Majesty, that little thief must be that Zhou Bin. Even if he isn't Zhou Bin, he must be closely related to him. Otherwise, this token wouldn't have appeared here so casually. Taking a step back, even if he isn't Zhou Bin with this evidence, we can settle the score with the human Zhou clan. We can use this as a pretext to demand compensation. Many monsters understood what the white-haired monster meant. So what if the evidence was fake? So what if the human Zhou Bin wasn't the culprit? With the evidence in hand, he had to be the culprit even if he wasn't. Otherwise, with the Silver Dragon City suffering such heavy losses, if they didn't find a sucker to compensate them, Silver Dragon City would definitely suffer for 10 years. No matter what, Grandmaster Zhou Bin must be guilty. He must be the culprit. That's right. With a smack, the Silver Dragon King slapped the throne and stood up. He shouted, "That human thief must be Zhou Bin. Immediately issue an ultimatum and protest to the human and demand compensation. If not, we'll fight it out with him. I'd like to see what the king of Shangzhou has to say. He dares to bully me and wants to rob me to get rich. If I don't kill those humans, I won't be able to take this lying down." He roared continuously, causing the entire palace to tremble. "Yes, my king." Chapter 529. Soon a piece of news caused a huge commotion in the human world. The Silver Serpent King ordered the king of Shangzhou to compensate for the great loss of Silver Serpent City and hand over the murderer, Grandmaster Zhou Bin. Otherwise, it would send out millions of troops to slaughter the Zhou clan cities, killing the chicken to scare the monkey and serve as a warning to others. The ultimatum this time shocked countless humans. Not long after the incident with the Black Scorpion King, the Silver Serpent King actually made a move again. Moreover, he was in a standoff with the King Zhou clan. They were like fire and water, unable to coexist with each other. What's going on? Why is the Silver Serpent King so angry that he wants to fight with the Zhou family? I heard that the Zhou family stirred up a beehive this time. Grandmaster Zhou Bin sneaked into Silver Serpent City and robbed their treasure vault. Holy crap. He's too fierce. He dared to sneak into Silver Serpent City alone and succeeded. He even stole the treasure vault. Is he trying to defy the heavens? It's a pity that Grandmaster Zhou Bin lost his Zhou family token by accident. The Silver Serpent King found out about his identity and is furious. He wants to settle the score with the Zhou family. The entire treasure vault was robbed. No wonder he's so angry. If it were me, I would be furious too. The Zhou family is unlucky this time. They offended the Silver Serpent King. This Demon King is one of the more powerful kings. The Black Scorpion King can't be compared to it. I wonder how the Zhou family will deal with this. If they really compensate the Silver Serpent King and even kowtow to apologize, the Zhou family will become the laughingstock of the human world. Many humans were discussing this matter because it was simply too shocking. Not to mention that someone dared to sneak into the Demon City. He even went into the Silver Serpent King's palace and took away the entire treasure vault. He even escaped easily. This was extremely shocking. Even a king might not be able to do this. This news also immediately became the headlines of the entire internet. Whether it was on major communication software, major forums, or major Chieba, it had become a hot topic of discussion and was ranked first in the search rankings. Countless people were concerned about this. As for the Zhou family, they were all in a state of confusion. In a meeting hall, countless core elders of the Zhou clan were rushing back from various places. Even the ancestor of the Zhou clan, Zhou Tiangang, who was also known as the King of Shangzhou, was present. Every single one of them had a grave expression on their faces, because this was not an ordinary matter. If it was handled carelessly, the entire Zhou clan would face annihilation. Damn it, what's going on? The King of Shangzhou, Zhou Tiangang, bellowed, "Why would Zhou Bin do such a thing?" He actually foolishly went to the Silver Flood Dragon City and stole the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasury. He even carelessly left his token behind. Even if he wants to die, he better not implicate our Zhou clan. He was incomparably furious. Originally, he was still in closed-door cultivation, but he was alarmed by this matter. In the end, he had no choice but to come out of closed-door cultivation to deal with this matter. "Zhou Bin, where are you right now? I'd like to see what's going on in his head." Zhou Qinggong's face was gloomy as he glanced at the elders of the Zhou family. "Patriarch." An elder of the Zhou family stood up and said, "We've tried to contact Zhou Bin with our communicators, but so far we haven't received any news from him. It's as if he has vanished from the face of the earth. We've even contacted some of the elites he brought with him from the Zhou clan, but we haven't received any news from them. We can't find them no matter how hard we try. Therefore we suspect that they've been assassinated." He clenched his fists with a murderous look. Hearing this, Zhou Qinggang's pupils shrank. You mean someone killed Zhou Bin and the others, obtained their tokens, then sneaked into the Silver Flood Dragon City and deliberately left this clue behind to frame our Zhou clan? He immediately understood the meaning of the elder's words. That's right. That's the most likely explanation. The elder of the Zhou clan said in a deep voice, I know Zhou Bin's ability. Although he's an expert at the peak of the Grand Master realm, it's impossible for him to sneak into the Silver Flood Dragon City without anyone noticing. He even stole the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasury and left unscathed. No matter how I think about it, he doesn't have the ability to do so. This must be done by someone else. But in order to divert the trouble to someone else, he framed our Zhou clan. He spoke his mind. The others also nodded, agreeing with this idea. Who is it? Not only did he kill the Grand Master of our Zhou clan, but he also wanted to frame us. Who would do such a thing? If I catch him, I'll kill him immediately. His entire clan will be exterminated. Zhou Tiangang clenched his teeth. He felt extremely annoyed and his murderous intent was boiling. I'm not sure. Our Zhou clan has many enemies. They all have this kind of motive to kill. The elder of the Zhou clan said in a deep voice, plus, we can't deny that this might be a self-directed play by the Silver Flood Dragon King. It might have deliberately killed Zhou Bin and the others, but in order to shirk responsibility, it claimed that its treasury had been robbed. In fact, that didn't happen at all. Everything was fabricated, and it even accused the guilty party first. Many elders of the Zhou clan agreed. This was not impossible. The Silver Flood Dragon King killed the Grand Master of the Zhou clan. He was afraid that it would cause a war between the human clan and the monster clan, and he would be blamed by the Thousand Monster Mountain. Therefore, the Silver Flood Dragon King played along. He lied that his treasury was stolen by humans and pushed all the blame onto the Zhou clan. He even took the opportunity to extort compensation. This was a trick that killed many birds with one stone. After all, it was the Silver Flood Dragon City, the territory of the Silver Flood Dragon King. Plus, it was an underwater city. To enter the Silver Flood Dragon City without anyone noticing, steal everything from the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasury, and even escape calmly was not something a normal Grand Master could do. Even kings might not be able to do it. No matter how they looked at it, they felt that there were many suspicious points in this incident. Some things were hard to justify and could not be explained. Anyways, go and investigate. Zhou Tiangang shouted, first find out how Zhou Bin and the others died. Who killed them? Who killed them? Who is the murderer? You must investigate thoroughly for me. At the same time, confirm for me whether or not this is a self-directed play by the Silver Flood Dragon King. Is he trying to blackmail our Zhou clan? If the Silver Flood Dragon King thinks that I, Zhou Tiangang, will be so scared that my legs will turn to jelly, and I will tell him that he thinks too much. The Zhou clan will not be humiliated. His face was ferocious and his voice was like thunder. Yes, clan leader. A group of elders of the Zhou clan shouted. Their faces were serious. None of them would relax because this was a matter of life and death for the Zhou clan. If they were not careful, their Zhou clan would be wiped out. This was definitely not a small matter. Of course, don't start a war if you can avoid it. Zhou Tiangang said in a low voice, war is a last resort. It is best to negotiate with the Silver Flood Dragon King and solve this peacefully. Chapter 530. Therefore the Zhou family quickly made a statement. They believed that the Silver Serpent King must have had a huge misunderstanding. This incident wasn't done by the Zhou family. Someone must have framed them. They hoped that the Silver Serpent King would be wise enough to find the real culprit. The Zhou family was also willing to help solve the conflict between the two parties and build a harmonious society together. The Zhou family was very sincere. They hoped that they could find a channel to communicate with the Silver Serpent King peacefully. They didn't want this incident to destroy the great unity between humans and monsters. As expected of a king family, their methods are indeed brilliant. Xia Ping also saw this news on the internet. He believed that if this continued, the Silver Serpent King and the Zhou family might make peace with each other under the intervention of the higher-ups of the human race and monster race. They might even work together to find the culprit. He would never allow such a thing to happen because it would be disadvantageous to him. Therefore, Xia Ping immediately posted anonymously on the internet to stir up this mess. The title of the post was, "Be careful. The Silver Serpent King's scheme is to blackmail the Zhou family." In the post, he described his explanation and refuted every single point. He believed that the Silver WRM King was clearly trying to blackmail the Zhou clan. He wanted to scam the Zhou clan with some groundless evidence and had sinister intentions. If the Silver Serpent King was really successful and every Monster King did the same thing in the future, wouldn't it be enough for humans to compensate the Monster Kings with all their wealth? Immediately many people saw this post. That's right. Brother, your words have enlightened us. Someone immediately realized, the Silver Serpent King has the final say on everything now. Outsiders like us don't know what the truth is. If the Silver Serpent King really forged the evidence, we can't do anything to him. Many people nodded in agreement. Isn't that so? Xia Ping replied quickly, what kind of place is the Silver Serpent City? It's a city at the bottom of the Cold Moon Lake. It's at least a few hundred meters deep. Ordinary humans can't enter it. Moreover, the Silver Serpent City is the Silver Serpent King's lair. There are many guards and restrictions inside. Even the big shots of the monster race might not be able to get away with it. As for us humans, wouldn't it be like catching a turtle in a jar? How could he obtain the Silver Flood Dragon King's treasure in the heavily guarded Silver Flood Dragon City and escape with ease? Therefore, I can conclude that this is definitely the Silver WRM King's scheme. The Silver WRM King killed the Grandmaster of the Zhou clan out of nowhere and obtained the token. Therefore, he took this opportunity to make a fuss and extort money from the Zhou clan. Hearing these words, many people were even more in agreement. They had spoken their hearts out. You're right. You're absolutely right. Previously, I also had a lot of doubts about this matter. I didn't think that the original poster would immediately voice out our thoughts. Indeed. The Silver Serpent City is heavily guarded, and there are countless experts here who could sneak into the Silver Serpent City's treasury and steal all the treasures. Even a monarch might not be able to do that. This must be a self-directed play by the Silver Serpent King. Despicable and shameless Silver Flood Dragon King. In order to extort money from us humans, he doesn't even care about his own face. How could he tell such a lie? How despicable. He is a monster king, yet he doesn't have any self-respect at all. The group of humans scolded and criticized the Silver Flood Dragon King. They thought that this monster king was shameless and would do anything for money. Now, he even wanted to fabricate evidence to extort money from humans. Xia Ping struck while the iron was hot. He hurried to fabricate a rumor. According to the rumor, the Silver Flood Dragon King has a lot of wealth. However, as a monster king he has a weakness. That is, he is addicted to gambling. Previously, he played mahjong with many monster kings and lost almost all of his wealth, causing the Silver Flood Dragon City to be in a deficit. He can't even pay the guards' salaries for the next month. Therefore, he thought of extorting money from humans and making a fortune to make up for the deficit. Of course, this is just a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. He even added this sentence to show that it was just a rumor, and he didn't know if it was true or not. If something went wrong, he wouldn't be responsible for it. However, the onlookers didn't care whether this rumor was true or not. As long as this rumor could satisfy their curiosity, they would spread it as if it was true. Holy shit, so that's how it is. No wonder the Silver Flood Dragon King would suddenly do something like this. Many people were shocked. They finally knew the truth of the matter. He lost all of his wealth and couldn't even pay the guards' salaries for the next month. Of course he would be worried. No wonder he suddenly did this. He directed this drama himself to extort money from the Zhou family. I didn't expect that the Silver Flood Dragon King would become a pauper. What a pity. Gambling makes him poor for the rest of his life. My big uncle was also cut down by loan sharks because of gambling. His family was ruined and his wife was separated. I didn't expect that even the Monster King would fall for it. I didn't expect that even the Monster King is a gambling addict. He gambled until he lost all of his wealth. It seems like gambling is a big problem that has been deeply rooted in the bones of humans and monsters. A group of people sighed. They didn't expect that even the Monster King was addicted to gambling. He was like some gambling addicts. Now he gambled until he lost all of his wealth. He couldn't even keep half of his property. It is said that the Silver Flood Dragon King is not only addicted to gambling, but also lustful and shameless. It is said that he keeps a dozen beauties of the fox race as his mistresses every month. Someone spread a rumor. Just this fee alone makes the Silver Flood Dragon King spend a lot of money every month. Now that the beauties of the fox race know about this, they want to abandon the poor Silver Flood Dragon King and continue to look for the next rich man. Many rumors also appeared on the internet. They talked about the story of the night between the beauties of the fox race and the Silver Flood Dragon King. They said that the Silver Flood Dragon King spent a lot of money in the casino. The guards of the Silver Flood Dragon City rebelled and demanded that the Silver Flood Dragon King pay their salaries and punish the black-hearted boss. Similar news kept appearing one after another. Soon this news spread across the entire human network. Like the wind, countless people knew about it. Some news media moved very fast and immediately published it as a piece of news. Many editors worked overtime to snatch the headlines. There is news that the Silver Flood Dragon King lost half of his wealth in gambling and is now bankrupt. The guards of the Silver Flood Dragon City rebelled and joined hands to protest. They sat down to demonstrate that the Silver Flood Dragon King owed them half a year's salary, blackmailing the Zhou family and demanding a huge sum of money. This was the last resort of the Monster King. Was it the struggle of the Monster King? Or was it the twisted demonic nature? Or was it the fall of morality? Today let us enter the inner world of the Monster King. What a pity. The Monster King ended up like this. Gambling has done a lot of harm to the monsters. News after news were published, letting countless people know about it. Chapter 531. Silver WRM City Palace. At this moment, the Silver WRM King's face was ashen as though he had been punched several times. The entire atmosphere was extremely oppressive and dark as though a storm would erupt at any time. Because just now, his communication device rang from time to time as the demonic beast kings called him. Some demonic beast kings were very direct and said that if the Silver WRM King had any difficulties recently, they could help him tide through the difficulties together. There was no need for him to scam humans and do such an embarrassing thing. After all, to do such a despicable thing for a bit of money was something that even the demonic beasts couldn't afford. Moreover, as a demonic beast king he had a reputation. It was really inexcusable for him to scam humans. Some demonic beast kings had a grudge against him and called to mock him. They said that the Silver WRM King was so short of money that he actually did such an embarrassing thing and humiliated the demonic beast race. They even suggested the Silver WRM King to commit suicide so that he wouldn't continue to humiliate the demonic beast race. Some demonic beast kings wanted to take advantage of the situation. They said that they could help the Silver WRM King tide through the difficulties and help pay the Silver WRM King. However, they needed the Silver WRM King to exchange for treasures. Their tone was simply sarcastic and treated the Silver WRM King as a fat sheep to be slaughtered. The Silver WRM King was so angry that he smashed his communication device on the spot. Damn it! This is really damn it! The Silver WRM King roared, "Who do you think I am? Do you really think that I am a demonic beast king who is addicted to gambling and has gone bankrupt from gambling? To think that all of you would come forward to ridicule me. Some of you even dare to treat this king as a fat sheep, wanting this king to sell off his treasures as collateral. What a joke. No matter how poor this king is, this king will never sell his treasures at such a low price." He was so angry that he even thought of killing those demonic beast kings who wanted to take advantage of the situation. They actually thought that he, the Silver WRM King, was bankrupt and had fallen to such a state. Some demonic beast kings even wanted to add insult to injury. They were extremely shameless. Only now did the Silver WRM King understand the fickleness of human nature. They usually pretended to be brothers with him, but at the crucial moment they actually added insult to injury. It's all those humans' fault. The Silver WRM King clenched his teeth. It hated the human bastard who spread the rumor. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have ended up like this, becoming the laughingstock of the 72 demon kings. If it found out who was the one who set it up, it would never let that guy go. With a dong sound, its palm slammed into the ground, immediately smashing open an enormous crater. More than 10 cracks appeared, extending several hundred meters and releasing cracking sounds. The surrounding demon guards kept quiet out of fear. They lowered their heads, not daring to look at the enraged Silver WRM King. If they were to be angered at this time, they would die in vain. Great King. Right at this moment, a demon soldier rushed in and said anxiously, "There are a lot of rumors out there saying that the king has gone bankrupt and can't pay his salary for the next year. He even mortgaged Silver Dragon City to other demon kings." This news has spread throughout the entire city and has shaken the morale of the army. Some demon soldiers even planned to force the king to abdicate and demand their wages. Right now, the entire Silver Dragon City is in a state of panic. I hope everyone can make a decision soon. What? Hearing this, the Silver WRM king was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. The power of the rumor was so powerful that it even affected the entire Silver Dragon City and the morale of the army. The demon soldiers who were originally loyal to the king actually wanted to force him to abdicate and wanted to demonstrate. If this continued, wouldn't the entire Silver Dragon City fall apart? And the Silver WRM king would become a lone commander. Without a doubt, those humans were planning to dig out his roots and exterminate his seed. Human Zhou family, I will never let you go. The Silver WRM king roared angrily. He had already blamed the Zhou family for this incident. If it wasn't for the human Zhou family, how could these rumors appear so quickly? On the one hand, the Zhou family hypocritically agreed to negotiate with him, and on the other hand they used all kinds of tricks to attack the Silver WRM king. Shameless to the extreme. And these rumors were definitely the masterpiece of the human Zhou family. Instantly, the Silver WRM king's heart was filled with killing intent. Great king, I found it. Suddenly, a white-haired demon walked in and said in a deep voice, after several days of investigation, I finally found out that the Zhou family has a hidden treasure called the Invisible Pearl. This treasure is extremely miraculous. It can hide one's body and aura. Once it is used, even a Grandmaster Realm demon won't be able to sense it. I'm guessing the Zhou clan snuck into our Silver Dragon City with this secret treasure. Although the Zhou family's treasure was hidden very well, there was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world. As long as it was used by the Zhou family before, it would leak out a lot of information. The white-haired demon finally obtained this precious information through various channels. What? The Silver WRM king was shocked. He immediately stood up and said, Invisible Pearl? It can hide one's body and aura. How could there be such a treasure in this world? Why would such a treasure fall into the hands of a Grandmaster? Because such a treasure would definitely be more effective in the hands of a King Realm warrior. Greed appeared in his eyes. He wanted to snatch the treasure for himself. This invisible pearl seems to only be effective against experts below the Grandmaster realm. It doesn't have much effect on kings. If an enemy uses the invisible pearl, the great king will notice it immediately. The white-haired demon said in a deep voice, therefore the king of Jianghu didn't use this treasure. Instead he gave it to a Grandmaster of the Zhou family. That's the best use of it. Without a doubt, the so-called Zhou Bin used this invisible pearl to sneak into our Silver Dragon City. His tone was firm and decisive. Useless against kings? Hearing this, the Silver WRM king instantly lost interest. As long as it was a treasure that didn't have any effect on kings, then it was not very valuable. However, it was undeniable that a treasure like this was an incredible treasure for experts below the Grandmaster realm. At least in the Silver Dragon City, his subordinates couldn't stop such a treasure. Even if he can enter our Silver Dragon City with the invisible pearl, how did he steal our treasure vault? Even now, the Silver WRM king couldn't understand what method that thief had used to move more than a dozen tons of treasures away. Furthermore, he had done it without making a sound. This was simply too ridiculous. I'm not sure. The white-haired demon shook his head, but one thing is for sure. This must be done by the Zhou family. If it wasn't for the invisible pearl, who could enter our Silver Dragon City so easily? Chapter 532. At this moment, Zhou family. Damn it. Zhou family patriarch Zhou Tiangang cursed. Which son of a bitch is so immoral to actually expose on the internet that the Silver Serpent King is planning to blackmail our Zhou family? Isn't this clearly forcing the Silver Serpent King to fight to the death with our Zhou family? That bastard is trying to put our Zhou family to death. Ever since he saw all sorts of news and reports on the internet, he almost went crazy from anger. Originally, this matter could have been easily resolved with his superb skills, and perhaps it wouldn't have cost much. But now that it was reported by the news media, even if the Silver Serpent King didn't have shit on him, it was shit. For the reputation of the Monster King, no matter what, the Silver Serpent King would fight to the death with the Zhou family. Otherwise, the reputation of the monster race would be destroyed by the Silver Serpent King, and they would lose all face. It could be imagined that when he found out such news appeared on the internet, how angry was he that he even wanted to kill the person who spread rumors and fanned the flames on the internet. The faces of the Zhou family members also turned green. Although they also suspected that this might be the Silver Serpent King framing the Zhou family, they could only think this in their hearts and not say it out loud. Once it was said, both sides would fall out and there would be no turning back. But now it was directly reported by the news media. There was news everywhere that the Silver Serpent King was planning to blackmail the Zhou family and cheat them of a large sum of money. If the Zhou family retreated at this time and even compensated the Silver Serpent King a large sum of money, then the Zhou family would lose all face and would be thought of as cowardly bandits. All in all, once this news appeared, the Zhou family had no room to retreat. They were clearly being forced into a corner. Bastard. Zhou Tiangang gritted his teeth. Have you found the bastard who first posted on the internet? That bastard definitely has a grudge against the Zhou family. Otherwise, why would he do such a thing? Once I find out his true identity, I will definitely tear him to pieces. He let out an angry roar, and the sound wave condensed into a substance, instantly shattering the roof. A dozen cracks appeared, and some rubble fell to the ground, making a clattering sound. Patriarch. A Zhou family elder stood up with a troubled expression. We've used all kinds of technological methods to try to track down the real identity of that account spokesperson, as well as his current location. But none of them worked. Even his identity level was classified as confidential. Except for the big shots such as the president of the Federation, nobody else was qualified to inquire about it. He felt very helpless. This was also normal. Xia Ping was an official member of the giant company. The moment he joined the giant company, his identity would be classified as a secret. Other than the higher-ups of the giant company, no one would have the qualifications to know about him. Even if the president of the Federation wanted to inquire about it, he would have to inform the giant corporation first. In fact, it wasn't only the giant company. The other life companies, Aurora Company, and many of the upper echelons of the King clans all had their identities kept confidential. No one was allowed to investigate them. Damn it. Zhou Tiangang gritted his teeth, but he had already expected this. Those who dared to go against the Zhou family must have an extraordinary identity, so it was normal that they couldn't find them. They didn't even have a clue. After all, there were too many people with top-secret identities. Patriarch. At this moment, a Zhou family elder suddenly rushed in from outside. His expression was one of panic. His face was filled with panic as he shouted, "The Silver Flood Dragon King has declared war on the Zhou family. He wants to have a life-and-death battle with the Patriarch." Life-and-death battle between kings? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. The so-called life-and-death battle between kings was when there was an irreconcilable conflict between two kings. Hence, both sides agreed to have a life-and-death battle to completely resolve the conflict. Even though the demon race and the human race had signed a peace treaty, there was still killing between them. There was a blood feud between them, and it was very difficult to stop such conflicts. As the saying went, it was better to let it go. Hence, the higher-ups of the two races decided to allow the kings who had a blood feud to have a life-and-death battle. This way, the scope of the battle could be controlled between the two kings, and there was no need to have a conflict between races. Is the Silver Flood Dragon King crazy? He actually wants to have a life-and-death battle with the Patriarch. A Zhou family elder shouted in fear. This was because such a battle was no small matter. Even though 100 years had passed, it had only appeared a few times. But every time it appeared, there was bound to be a king who fell. If the Patriarch of the Zhou family died at the hands of the Silver Flood Dragon King, then the entire Zhou family would probably fall apart. It might even be swallowed by other families and it would be destroyed overnight. Of course, a life-and-death battle between kings couldn't be carried out just because they wanted to. There had to be a blood feud between the two sides. Only then would the higher-ups allow it. In this situation, it was clear that the conflict between the Zhou family and the Silver Flood Dragon King was irreconcilable. It had to be resolved in a battle. Whoever won was right. The winner was King. Patriarch. A group of Zhou family elders looked at Zhou Tiangang, their faces pale. Silver Flood Dragon King. Zhou Tiangang clenched his teeth. He knew that there was still a huge gap between his strength and the Silver Flood Dragon King's. That was why the Silver Flood Dragon King was so brazen and proposed a life-and-death battle. If the two really fought to the death, then his chances of winning were slim. Looks like I have to find someone to help. Thinking of this, Zhou Tiangang took a deep breath and finally made a decision. Find someone to help? Many Zhou family elders' eyes flashed. Without a doubt, the person who could stop this had to be a king, and one of the higher-ups of the human race. But to invite such a king, even if the Zhou family was rich and powerful, they would still have to spend a lot of money and resources. But Zhou Tiangang couldn't die. Once a king fell, the Zhou family would be completely finished. Therefore, even if they had to go bankrupt, they had to protect Zhou Tiangang. Damn it, how dare you make my Zhou clan so miserable? You put me, Zhou Tiangang, in such a situation. You better not let me find the person who framed my Zhou clan. Otherwise I, Zhou Tiangang, will tear you to pieces and exterminate your entire clan. Zhou Tiangang clenched his fists. His face was ferocious and he was extremely angry. The next day, a human king set off and landed on the Thousand Monster Mountain. It was said that on that day the Thousand Monster Mountain shook and hundreds of mountains collapsed. The sky shook and the earth shook. Everything within 10,000 miles was flattened. Even the sky seemed to have been split in half. Then, the Thousand Monster Mountain ordered the Silver Flood Dragon King to cancel the battle. The Silver Flood Dragon King had no choice. Facing the order of the Thousand Monster Mountain's patriarch, he could only lower his head. But he also received a part of the Zhou family's compensation and recovered some of his losses. Hearing this, the Zhou family members let out a sigh of relief. At least the life and death battle was cancelled and their king was not dead. All their wealth could be slowly recovered. Chapter 533. Invisibility Pearl? Zhou Tiangang suddenly thought of this treasure. He stared at a middle-aged man in black next to him, but I gave it to Zhou Wen. This treasure should be with you, right? This man in black was Zhou Wen, Zhou Hao's father. Plop. When Zhou Wen heard this, he immediately knelt on the ground in fright. He kowtowed repeatedly and said, "I'm sorry, ancestor. It is my fault for not teaching him properly. I only just found out about this matter. My son, Zhou Hao, actually stole the invisible pearl I left at home and secretly went to Savage Forest to adventure." "What about your son Zhou Hao? Where is he now?" Zhou Tiangang asked. Zhou Wen shook his head. "I can't contact him. His communication devices are all broken. I can't even contact the people around him. He disappeared into Savage Forest with Zhou Bin." He clenched his fists. "Ancestor, we suspect that Zhou Bin and the others were killed by a mysterious person. A Zhou family elder guessed. Then that mysterious person obtained the invisibility pearl and snuck into Silver Dragon City to steal the Silver Dragon King's treasure. In the end, this bastard is despicable and shameless. He framed us and made us take the blame." "What?" Hearing this, Zhou Qinggang's eyes widened, and his body emitted an endless murderous aura. All of a sudden, a huge crater appeared on the ground. Several of the Zhou family's elders around him were shaken by this force and smashed into the wall one after another. "You said that mysterious person not only killed our Zhou family's elites and stole our Zhou family's secret treasure, but also caused us to fall into such a state." Zhou Tiangang clenched his teeth. "Our Zhou family is in such a miserable state. It can be said that we've lost all our assets because of that mysterious person framing us. This is too much." He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. One had to know that this disaster had simply fallen from the sky. Because of this, their Zhou family not only lost Zhou Bin and the other elites, but also lost a secret treasure like the invisibility pearl. They even lost more than half of their assets. It could be said to be a heavy loss. But their Zhou family was in such a miserable state because of that mysterious person. Just thinking about how the mysterious figure was still at large, obtaining a large number of the Silver WRM King's treasures, and even mocking their Zhou clan in secret, they were on the verge of going insane. "You must find the bastard who framed my Zhou family. After you find him, don't kill him so quickly. Take your time." Zhou Tiangang gritted his teeth, and a murderous aura burst out from between his teeth. The other elders of the Zhou clan also clenched their fists tightly. Their eyes were all bloodshot. If that mysterious being appeared in front of them, they would definitely pounce on it and tear it into pieces. At this moment, in a cave in the Savage Forest, Xia Ping sat on the ground with a large amount of water moon grass placed in front of him. Ever since he spread the rumor on the internet and framed the Silver WRM King, he had ignored it. He knew that no matter how the Zhou clan struggled, they would not be able to escape the wrath of the Silver Serpent King. He also used this time to refine the large amount of time grass he had obtained from Silverworm City to increase his cultivation. Rumble. Immediately, Xia Ping revolved the solar furnace in his body and refined the water moon grass, transforming it into coldine energy that flowed into his limbs and bones, fusing into every single cell in his body. The power of water and fire, the power of the sun and moon fused with each other, reaching the realm of complementing water and fire, forming a balance of yin and yang in his body. After an unknown period of time, Xia Ping felt the true energy in his body increasing crazily. It almost filled up his dantian as if it was about to overflow. Bang bang bang. The true energy was like water, crazily surging through his meridians. When the true energy in his body reached its limit, the liquid rushed in all directions, breaking through one meridian after another. Dong. At this moment, when the 49th meridian was broken, Xia Ping felt his body tremble, emitting a sound like that of a tiger or leopard's thunder. His muscles and bones sounded together. Fifth heavenly layer of martial master. He immediately knew that he had advanced to the fifth heavenly layer of martial master. He had cleared 49 meridians, forming 4 true energy cycles in his body, and emitting a mysterious and tyrannical aura. At this moment, 2 or 3 hell golden crow cells in his body awakened. They were immediately refined by the true energy, transforming into a large amount of life energy that flowed into every single cell in his body. What a strong force! Xia Ping clenched his fists. He could feel that his strength had been strengthened a step further. It was more than 30 to 40% stronger than before. With a punch, the air exploded continuously. This punch could kill an enemy even if they were 5 to 6 kilometers away. The strength of my mental energy has also increased. Xia Ping closed his eyes. He could also feel that his mental energy had been greatly enhanced. It spread out in all directions as though he could see through everything. Even the dust in the air, the ants crawling on the ground, and the flies and mosquitoes flying in the distance were all clearly under the control of his mental energy. Most probably, even if he was blind now, with the strength of his mental energy, he would still be able to walk freely. Bang! At this moment, Xia Ping stood up. The aura from his body fluctuated, causing the entire mountain peak to tremble. The rocks in the surroundings were all shaken by this aura. He took a step forward and was as fast as a gust of wind. In an instant he appeared outside the cave. Because of the great increase in mental energy, his technique of controlling true energy seemed to have become more exquisite than before. His understanding of martial arts techniques had also become deeper. Boom! Xia Ping's feet stomped on the ground and he immediately jumped up, instantly causing the ground to collapse and a huge crater to appear. His feet generated an extremely strong propulsion force as he jumped to the top of a small mountain. He was now like a ferocious beast in human form. Every move he made contained great power. It could be said that even if Xia Ping met an ordinary 7th layer martial master expert, he would be able to kill him. This kind of strength was enough to rival a high-ranked martial master. As expected of the water moon grass, it actually helped me break through several meridians consecutively and advance to the 5th layer martial master in one go. Xia Ping clenched his fists. If I can refine all these water moon grass, I might be able to advance to the 6th layer martial master or the 7th layer martial master very quickly. It might even be possible for me to advance to the peak of the 9th layer martial master. Could be said that he had gained a lot this time. During this period of time, he didn't need to go out to look for resources. Just these water moon grass alone was enough for him to cultivate for a long time. Right now, the Silver Dragon City is in a state of martial law. There are Silver Dragon King's subordinates patrolling the surroundings. The savage forest is already a place of trouble. It is no longer suitable for me to take the risk and cultivate. I'd better return to Yanhuang University first. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He had already been out for about a month. It was time for him to make a trip back to Yanhuang University. Chapter 534. Whoosh. A spaceship was speeding in the sky, flying towards Yanhuang University, and Xia Ping was also sitting on the spaceship, resting comfortably, looking out the window at the scenery. Ding. The system's voice came out. Congratulations to the host, this time you have received 15 million hatred points. 15 million hatred points? Xia Ping clenched his fists and his face was very excited. In addition to what he had obtained before, he had a total of 45 million hatred points, which was a huge sum of money. Sure enough, it was still the king who got the most hatred points, but it was very dangerous. Once the king knew his true identity, he might be in big trouble and be hunted down by the king. But now it seemed that the gain was still greater than the effort. Host. The system said, if the hatred points reach 100 million you will get a system gift pack. I hope the host can work harder and achieve the achievement of getting 100 million hatred points as soon as possible. System gift pack? Hearing this, Xia Ping immediately became excited. He remembered how powerful the system gift pack was. It was not a treasure that could be measured by a small amount of hatred points. He remembered that the first big gift pack was the Pure Yang Immortal Art. The second big gift pack was to reach 1 million hatred points, and the system gave him the Hell Golden Crow bloodline. Every item on it was priceless, enough to make countless martial artists crazy. If he got 100 million hatred points and also got the system gift pack, he really didn't know what kind of treasure the system would give him. Maybe even the king would have a heart attack. However, the system didn't seem to have any rules to the big gift pack. When he got 10 million hatred points, the system didn't give him a big gift pack. It was probably because he didn't meet some requirements of the system. I must get 100 million hatred points. This time I want to see what the system gift pack is. Xia Ping clenched his fists, feeling very excited. A few days later, the spaceship returned to the elite area of Yanhuang University and landed in Xia Ping's villa in the elite area. When Xia Ping just returned to his villa, he received a call from Fatty Feng Hatong. With a beep, Xia Ping immediately connected and asked, "What's the matter?" "Big brother, something big has happened. There are monster bastards coming to Yanhuang University. They want to deal with you." Feng Hatong shouted in a hurry, his voice was loud and his tone was urgent. "Monster bastards? What does that mean?" Xia Ping blinked, not understanding what Feng Hatong meant. Feng Hatong said in surprise, "Big brother, don't tell me you don't know? A few days ago, the Myriad Demon Mountain seemed to have sent some geniuses from the demon race to Yanhuang University. It seemed like they wanted to hold some kind of genius exchange. They said they wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to learn together and strengthen the communication between the human race and the demon race. But the truth is that they are simply here to demonstrate their might. They want to use this opportunity to intimidate us humans." Genius exchange? Xia Ping expressed that he was not aware of this matter, because he had been outside for the past few days and had even cultivated in seclusion for a few days. Naturally, he did not know what had happened at Yanhuang University. Just the day before yesterday. Feng Hatong gritted his teeth and said, "Those so-called demon race prodigies are competing with us Yanhuang University students under the guise of learning from each other. They say they want to learn together and hope the human race can give them pointers. But in reality they were more ruthless than anyone else. They beat our Yanhuang University people up very badly. One by one they were sent to the hospital for emergency treatment, and some people are still in the hospital. The most despicable thing is that these demon race prodigies seem to know about our leveling heaven gate. They know about Big Brother, so they've purposefully approached us to teach us a lesson. In the end, many of our people have been injured." He gritted his teeth. He was very angry. What? Hearing this, a cold glint appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. The Leveling Heaven Gate was a martial arts organization that he had established. The members of the Leveling Heaven Gate were equivalent to his people. As the saying went, one had to look at the master before beating a dog. These demon race prodigies were purposefully targeting the Leveling Heaven Gate, which meant that they were targeting him. They wanted to slap him in the face. Their intentions were very obvious. As for why these demon race prodigies were targeting him, it probably had something to do with him killing Scorpion 13. He, a mere human, had killed a demon king's descendant. No matter how one looked at it, it was a slap in the face for the demon race. Perhaps this matter had made some demon race prodigies unhappy with Xia Ping and wanted to find trouble with him. All of a sudden, Feng Hatong shouted loudly, "Big brother, those demon race prodigies seem to have logged onto our school forum and are provoking us." Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He immediately entered the school forum and saw a post. There seemed to be a 4 to 5 minute video posted. With a snap, he immediately opened the video and saw a young monster that looked like a mouse fighting with a student from Yanhuang University on a training ground. However, the student was badly beaten. His face was swollen and his head was bleeding. He was no match for the young demon at all. In the end, he fell to the ground and was sent to the hospital by the medical staff. This is too much. A cold glint appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. He could tell that the demon was doing this on purpose. It clearly had an overwhelming advantage, but it did not give the student a fatal blow. Its goal was to prolong the battle and torture and tease the student. In the end, the student's injuries were extremely serious. He had already been sent for emergency treatment and would need at least a month to recover. This is too much. He's clearly about to lose, but he's still torturing his opponent. This isn't a friendly spar. If it wasn't for the teacher, he would have been crippled long ago. Those demons are too much. We have to condemn them. How dare they behave atrociously in our human territory? Aren't they looking down on us too much? All the students of Yanhuang University were in an uproar after seeing this video. All of them were furious and thought that the demon was too much. It was deliberately beating and torturing a student of Yanhuang University in their human territory. This was clearly a provocation and a humiliation. It was too unscrupulous. Too much? How is this too much? The one who spoke was the demon in the video. His name was Shu Wulong and it was one of the demon race prodigies. It had also deliberately posted this video. It sneered on the forum and said in an extremely arrogant tone, "We came all the way from Wanyao Mountain to the holy land of human martial arts. We thought we could find some opponents, get some pointers and learn something. However, we didn't expect these opponents to be so weak and vulnerable. They were crippled in just a few moves." Chapter 535. All the students of Yanhuang University were enraged by his words. How was that an apology? Every sentence was filled with sarcasm, as if it was saying that it wasn't wrong at all. The fault was that its opponent was too weak, so weak that it couldn't withstand a single blow even if it showed mercy. Shu Wulong's arrogance was obvious. He was high and mighty, looking down on the people of Yanhuang University. Damn it! How can this monster be so arrogant? It's just a mouse. This isn't an ordinary mouse. It's a weasel monster that can spray hallucinogenic poisonous gas. Once the enemy is infected, they will immediately hallucinate and lose half of their combat power. If it wants to, it can even spit out poison and kill its enemies in a few breaths. Indeed, it has the strength of a fifth-stage martial master. Many elite students have challenged it recently, but they were all defeated. They were beaten black and blue. They are no match for it at all. What? So many people had challenged it and all of them had lost? No wonder it's so arrogant. Everyone's faces darkened. Even so many elite students had joined hands to challenge it, but they still lost to this mouse monster. It was not an ordinary mouse and its strength was extraordinary. Although the mouse was arrogant, it had the right to be arrogant. What? Are you still not convinced? Shu Wulong shouted, "Come and challenge me if you have the guts. If any of you can defeat me, I will immediately call you father. If you lose, you will call me father." It provoked them directly, completely looking down on the students of Yanhuang University. Damn it. When there is no tiger in the mountain, the monkey calls itself the king. A student gritted his teeth angrily. In fact, there were some elite students who could defeat them, but now that the genius battle was approaching, most of them had left Yanhuang University to train and improve their strength. As a result, there weren't many true experts left in Yanhuang University, which was why these demons were able to strut around and run amok in Yanhuang University. After all, no one had expected these monsters to choose this time to come. It just so happened that these monsters were able to be arrogant here. Looks like humans are all a bunch of cowardly bandits. None of them are capable. They don't even dare to challenge us. Then why are you still alive? Why don't you just die? Shu Wulong laughed heartily and was very proud of himself. It was a rare opportunity to humiliate the human race's pride. If he went back to the demon race's encampment now, he would be able to brag about it for the rest of his life. Shu Wulong, don't talk nonsense here. The human race still has experts. It's just that they haven't been born yet. The one who spoke was a fire wolf demon called Wolf Seven Blades. It was also one of the prodigies of this group of demons. Its strength was tyrannical, and its cultivation was at the sixth firmament of martial master. So that's how it is. The experts haven't been born yet, so they can't be blamed. Indeed, you can't blame them. After all, these humans have been practicing martial arts for less than 1,000 years. How can they be compared with the hundreds of thousands of years of history of our demon race? Isn't this making things difficult for them? However, Patriarch had us come here to find human warriors to exchange pointers with, hoping to receive some pointers from them. Looks like that plan has fallen through. We can only come here to sightsee. This place of humans is not bad as a tourist attraction. It's suitable for them to invent and create things. However, if they want to compare their martial arts with the demon race, they will probably have to develop for another 10,000 years. They don't have any talent and their bodies are weak, yet they want to compare with our demon race. I don't know where they get their face from. Don't they know what shame is? Humans have nothing else but their skin is a bit thick. Sometimes even wolf claws can't penetrate it. This is their talent. Our demon race can't compare with them. Shu Wulong and Wolf Seven Blades spoke one after another, echoing each other and constantly mocking the human warriors. Their expressions were very disdainful, and they didn't put the students of Yanhuang University in their eyes at all. They thought that they could defeat them easily. Some of the demon race's pride also sneered. These words were also what they were thinking. In fact, this time they didn't come to the human race's martial arts sacred land to learn, but to intimidate the humans and let them know that their demon race's martial arts were tyrannical. If they could take this opportunity to humiliate the human students of this martial arts sacred land, when they return to the demon race's encampment, they would definitely receive a lot of rewards and become famous. Damn it, is there no one who can deal with this group of demons? They actually let these bastards strut around in our territory? Some students clenched their fists, their hearts filled with anger. If they had the strength, they would definitely all rush up and beat these demons half to death, making them all shut up and know how powerful humans were. However, these demon races' pride were too strong. All of them had the strength of a martial master. Furthermore, they were very talented. Human warriors of the same level were no match for them at all. Previously, there were some students who were unconvinced, but now they were all beaten up. That's right, wasn't there a very famous human before? I think he's called Xia Ping. Xu Wulong suddenly thought of something and shouted, I heard that even Scorpion 13 was killed by him, almost causing a war between the human race and the demon race. Where did this brat go? Why didn't he come out to fight? Could it be that he's afraid? One of their reasons for coming here was to deal with this human, Xia Ping. Only by defeating this human could the demon race quell the negative effects of Scorpion 13's death. This time, they wanted to prove that the demon race's pride could kill a human's pride as easily as drinking water, as easily as stepping on an ant. How could he not be afraid? I reckon that he used a trap to kill Scorpion 13. If we really fight, I can kill 10 of such humans without taking a breather. It's not that I'm boasting, but if that human dares to come out, I'll beat the shit out of him in minutes. With such a big commotion that human Xia Ping doesn't even dare to make a sound. He's definitely scared shitless and knows that he's a fake, so he doesn't dare to make a sound. He wants to compete with us, the demon race. I reckon that human also knows that his chances of winning are not high, so he went into hiding. However, this is also good. In the future, that brat can just tuck his tail between his legs and behave. Don't casually stand out or else he won't know how to write the word death. The group of demons laughed loudly. It seemed that if they met the human Xia Ping, they could kill him in seconds. Interesting. He actually dares to provoke me. It's been a long time since I've seen such reckless demons. Xia Ping clenched his fists, and his eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He felt that this was an opportunity. If he could thoroughly humiliate these demon races' pride, he would definitely gain a lot of hatred. There were many benefits, and he could also beat up the demons and exercise his muscles. Chapter 536. As soon as Xia Ping's post was posted, it immediately caused an uproar on the internet. No way, Xia Ping really accepted the challenge? How can he beat him? This kid has just reached the martial master realm not long ago. How can he be a match for Xu Wulong? I guess he fell for those monsters' provocation. He's too young and aggressive. This is bad, this is bad. This time, Xia Ping will definitely be beaten up badly. He might even be humiliated. So many elite students have been defeated by Xu Wulong. Can't he see it clearly? He doesn't even know the difference in strength between the two sides, yet he foolishly accepted the challenge. Isn't he asking to be humiliated? Many students were dumbfounded. They did not expect Xia Ping to accept Xu Wulong's challenge. After all, everyone could see that Xia Ping was goading Xu Wulong into accepting the challenge. His goal was to provoke Xia Ping into accepting the challenge. The problem was, no matter how talented Xia Ping was, he was just a young man who had just reached the martial master realm not long ago. How could he beat those monsters who had reached the martial master realm long ago? If he was given some time to cultivate, they believed that it would not be a problem for him to defeat these monsters. But now it seemed that it was too early. When the other monsters saw the post, they all sneered. Stupid, too stupid. This is the human who killed Scorpion 13? I didn't expect to overestimate him. A simple provocation made him so angry. If he is not shrewd, his future achievements will be like this. Scorpion 13 is also a piece of trash. What's so great about killing a piece of trash? He even dared to send Xu Wulong to his death. He is quite arrogant, but I don't know how powerful he is. How powerful can he be? He has just reached the martial master realm not long ago. Even if I let him fly, he won't be able to fly far. TSK Xu Wulong is really lucky. If he can defeat Xia Ping and humiliate him, he will help us regain our dignity. I'm afraid many monster kings will be happy. When that time comes, there will be great benefits. Many monsters felt a little regretful. If they knew that the kid was so easily provoked, they would have challenged him one by one. How could they give this opportunity to Xu Wulong? But it was too late now. Shugoro had his eyes on that human. Basically, that human was finished. When Xu Wulong saw this post, he was overjoyed. He didn't expect this human to be so stupid. He actually dared to accept his challenge. It was obvious that he was courting death. It would be stupid to refuse such a great opportunity. It immediately said, "Stupid human, I didn't expect you to agree. You have some courage. I just hope you won't run away tomorrow." It blocked Xiaoping's path of retreat. If he dared to go back on his word or run away, he would become a laughingstock, a shame that he would never be able to wash away. Run my ass. If I don't beat the shit out of you in 3 moves, I'll change my surname to yours. Xiaoping spoke on the spot. Immediately the crowd was in an uproar. They felt that Xiaoping was too arrogant. He wanted to beat a martial master like Xu Wulong in 3 moves. Who did he think he was? The evil Xu Wulong was also a prodigy of the demon race. He had inherited the Weasel King's bloodline and was the descendant of a king. He had all kinds of innate abilities and was extremely powerful. More than a dozen elite students from Yanhuang University went up to challenge him, but they were all sent to the hospital. It showed that Xu Wulong's strength was not comparable to ordinary human martial artists. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was invincible among his peers. But now this kid said that he could defeat Xu Wulong in 3 moves. It was really looking down on him. Xu Wulong, are you being looked down upon by humans now? If we don't teach this human a lesson, will our demon race still have any face? A group of demon prodigies added fuel to the fire and sneered. Xu Wulong suddenly became furious. You want to defeat me in 3 moves? Arrogant human, I'd like to see how you're going to defeat me in 3 moves tomorrow. His heart was full of anger and he almost exploded. A little human dared to boast shamelessly, saying that he could beat the shit out of him in 2 or 3 moves. This time, if he didn't beat this damn human Xiaoping until half of his body was paralyzed, he wouldn't be Xu Wulong. Big brother. Feng Hatong also knew about this and he was very worried. This Xu Wulong is not a good monster. He already has the cultivation of the 5th heaven of martial master. Before, many elite students went up to challenge him, but they were easily defeated by him. It's just a mouse, I can kill it with 1 slap, Xiaoping said lightly. As expected of big brother. Feng Hatong immediately had a feeling of admiration for Xiaoping. He felt that Xiaoping's martial arts cultivation seemed to be even more unfathomable. Moreover, he was very clear about Xiaoping's character. If he didn't have absolute confidence, how could he make a move? It seemed that this so-called Xu Wulong was bound to be unlucky this time. The next day in the elite training ground, this was a wide square. At this time, this square was densely packed with elite students, and there were also hundreds of demon prodigies on the opposite side. The 2 sides stood opposite each other, clearly separated, confronting each other. Even some Grandmaster-level school teachers and demon race teachers came. They watched the battle from the side and at the same time, they prevented a huge conflict between the 2 sides, causing uncontrollable consequences. Xiaoping is here. Suddenly, a group of people shouted. Suddenly, a group of people immediately looked over, only to see a young man walking over, barehanded, seemingly without any aura on his body. He just came to this training ground like this. And this person was Xiaoping. Finally here? I thought you would run away. Xu Wulong also walked out of a group of monsters, staring at Xiaoping with a gloomy face. After a night, the anger in his heart not only did not subside, but also became more and more vigorous. Today, in front of everyone, he wanted to beat this so-called human Xiaoping until half of his body was paralyzed, and even beat him until he knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Run away? Do you think I will be afraid of a mouse? Xiaoping waved his hand and said carelessly, Come over, let me teach you the true meaning of martial arts, but whether you can learn anything or not depends on your ability. After all, it's useless to teach a monster with poor aptitude. This is called mud can't help a wall. He revealed the appearance of a generation's grandmaster, completely like a senior giving advice to a junior. Shut up. Xu Wulong couldn't stand this shameless human for another second. This guy's mouth was even more poisonous than his own gas. If he continued to let him talk like this, he was afraid that he would faint before the battle even started. Boom. Chapter 537. So strong. Everyone was shocked. Looking at Xu Wulong's punch, they were all shocked. This monster was indeed a monster. His strength was definitely not something to brag about. With a punch, the fist energy shot out and condensed into a substance. The air vibrated. This kind of power was almost no less than that of some human warriors who were born with divine strength. Even a huge rock would be smashed into powder. However, Xu Wulong's original body was a weasel. He was not good at strength, but such a casual punch had such tyrannical power. One could totally imagine how terrifying his opponent was. It was no wonder that Xu Wulong had defeated many elite students before. Too weak. Xia Ping took a step forward. His whole body vibrated. Qigong revolved, and a tyrannical Qigong burst out from his fist. It was as if a divine dragon had descended, and a series of explosions occurred around his body. Dong. His fist fiercely smashed towards Xu Wulong. It was like a flood bursting a dam. It was unknown how many times more tyrannical than Xu Wulong's strength. Even the strong wind brought by the fist seemed to condense at this moment, turning into astral wind. Due to the turbulence of the air currents, terrifying cracks suddenly appeared on the ground. The surrounding demons and elite students retreated, afraid that they would be affected by the shockwaves. What? Xu Wulong was inexplicably shocked. He never thought that this human was so terrifying. His strength alone was no less than that of the Elephant Clan, which was famous for their strength. Legend had it that when the Elephant Clan reached adulthood, they had the power to uproot the mountains and fill the seas. One step could crack the earth, and one flick could easily throw a small mountain. And this human seemed to have some of the power of the Elephant Clan. With a bang, Xu Wulong's fist collided with Xia Ping's fist energy. However, in just a second, his fist energy was instantly smashed into pieces. Its entire body was sent flying by the force, and it slid on the ground for dozens of meters, leaving a deep crack on the ground. The tyrannical fist force had injured its lungs, and it almost couldn't help but spit out blood. Impossible. Xu Wulong stood in the same place and looked at Xia Ping in horror. It seemed that he couldn't believe his eyes. Didn't they say that you are only in the third sky of Martial Master Realm? What is going on now? With such quintessential essence, he is at least a fifth-layer Martial Master. He had previously investigated a lot of information about Xia Ping and knew that this human was at most a third heaven of Martial Master. But now, this kid had actually advanced to the fifth heaven of Martial Master. He was many times stronger than before. That was more than a month ago. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, his tone indifferent. A month ago? Hearing this, not only the heaven's favorites of the demon race, even the elite students present were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. These words were far too arrogant. Ordinary people would have to spend a lot of time and effort to advance to the next heavenly layer. To advance to the next heavenly layer in a year was already an incredible advancement speed. Some people would even be stuck in a bottleneck and might not be able to make any progress even after decades. But this kid had consecutively advanced 2 levels in a little over a month. His speed of improvement was terrifying to the point of being a complete mess, and it was completely illogical. What kind of elixir did you take to improve so quickly? Xu Wulong stared at Xia Ping. He clenched his fists and endured the tumbling blood in his body. He was very unwilling. Originally, he thought that he could easily defeat Xia Ping. But who would have thought that he would be beaten back with just a punch? Even his internal organs were slightly injured. It's none of your business. Xia Ping didn't want to talk nonsense with Xu Wulong at all. He blasted out a punch like a wolf or a tiger. Suddenly, the sound of tigers and leopards burst out, as if there were countless beasts roaring in the void. The surrounding martial artists' blood was boiling, and their hearts felt extremely uncomfortable. The power of this punch was even more terrifying than before. His mental power had completely locked on to Xu Wulong's aura. No matter where he escaped to, it would track him down. If you want to defeat me, this is not enough. It's not enough at all. Do you understand? Xu Wulong shouted angrily. His pair of yellow eyes revealed a trace of coldness, and it seemed that the air was filled with a strange mental fluctuation. Boom! At this moment, a large amount of yellow smoke immediately emerged from his body. In just a few breaths, the smoke spread around and surrounded the nearby square. Huh! Xia Ping frowned. He felt that the moment the yellow smoke appeared, the air suddenly smelled extremely unpleasant. The extremely spicy smell seemed to make people's ears, eyes, and mouth feel extremely uncomfortable, as if they were poisoned. Even the air was filled with a strange mental power, distorting the air and affecting his 5 senses. He suddenly lost track of Xu Wulong's whereabouts, as if he was hiding in the yellow smoke. Oh no, this is the innate poison bomb of the Weasel clan. Someone immediately shouted. Many monsters had their own bloodline innate poison bomb, and the Weasel clan could burst out the innate poison bomb at the critical moment. This was the result of the Weasel clan taking a lot of poisons, and then decomposing them, storing the poisonous gas in their body as a trump card. If the innate poison bomb burst out, it could immediately cause terrible damage to the enemy. Even some monsters with strong defensive power couldn't withstand this kind of innate poison bomb. In the past, some elite students couldn't resist this innate poison bomb, and they were immediately poisoned to the ground, waiting to be slaughtered. This was a trump card and it was almost always successful. Yeah, damn human, you can't resist the innate poison bomb of my weasel clan. Be obedient and fall to the ground. In the yellow smoke, an extremely proud voice came from all directions, trying to disturb Xiaoping's mind. Because the sky was full of yellow smoke, it was impossible to know where the weasel was hiding. Insignificant skill. Xiaoping's eyes were cold and he operated the qigong in his body. The true elemental energy in the depths of his dantian boiled like magma, and 108,000 pores on his body emitted wisps of flames. And when these flames converged together, they instantly turned into a 3 zhang tall man made of fire, and a raging fire appeared, burning around him. These flames burned the world, and when the yellow smoke came in contact with them, it was like ice and snow coming in contact with fire, and it melted. The poisonous gas in the air was instantly burned. No matter what kind of poisonous gas or what kind of poison, under the absolute high temperature, it would die. If there was poison that couldn't be evaporated by the fire, there was only one reason, and that was the temperature was not high enough. And Xiaoping cultivated the pure yang immortal incantation, and he absorbed the essence of the sun, and he also had the bloodline of the golden crow of hell, so the fire he condensed was enough to burn gold and iron. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.